third celebrity typing live stream. So before I start, I'll just let you guys know I do have a bit of a cold. I do have a hell of a cough. So I've got this to get me through, but there may be a bit more coughing than is desirable. So I apologize in advance for that. But yes, let's press on. So for anyone who is new to the celebrity typing live stream, here's how it works. You make a super chat of at least $20. And if you do more than $20, then you will be prioritized in the queue. And yes, then I will type the person you want me to type. You just put the name in the super chat. The person has to be a public figure. It has to be someone who is well known enough for me to have some degree of, well, information on them in order to type them. They need to be a celebrity, they need to be a historical figure. They don't have to be alive, they could be dead, they could be historical, it's absolutely fine. But there needs to be information on them that's public for me to look at them in order to type them. But yes, and to everyone who is a dad, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day if you're in the UK. I'm not sure what the Father's Day is in the US or other countries, but in the UK it's Father's Day today. So happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. But yes, let's start. Unknown Luna saying peak stream. Yes, I think, yeah, peak streaming when you're on a cold. Absolutely, absolutely. So let's start with Eminem. Thank you, Marty. And then we'll go on to Trey. Thank you, Isaac. And so yeah, let's start with Eminem. Eminem. You can do a fictional character. I have done one before. I did the Grinch. All I'd say is there's no guarantee there's going to be a coherent typing at the end of it. It entirely depends on the writing and if it's consistent and the characterization and if it's consistent. So if you really want me to do a fictional character, I will do a fictional character. Just the disclaimer is that the fictional character might not have a coherent type. So I'll try and find the best fit if I can, but I'll hedge my bets. So you can do a fictional character if you really, really want me to. The hard part is that might involve if it's a TV series, I might have to watch some of the TV, and that might I'll try and find my way around in terms of copyright and that sort of thing. But yeah, we can certainly try a fictional character. I just again, there's no guarantee I actually will find a coherent typing at the end because some fictional characters are not coherently written, and it might be if it's a character who appears in many different sources and many different interpretations, I might only be able to type a particular manifestation, a particular interpretation. Take Batman, right? You might have me type Batman from the animated series, which is going to be quite different from the Batman in Batman Begins, as an example. You might have me look at Tyrion Lannister and how he is in the TV series is very different to how he is in the books. So I'll probably focus on the book. I would, in general, I go towards the original source rather than the adaptation because that's more likely to have something which is coherent rather than a written character and then an actor's portrayal of that written character with a script which isn't necessarily true entirely to the book that it might be based on or anything similar to that. So I hope that answers your question. But let's move on now to Eminem. Marshall Bruce Mathers the Third. Right, let's go to Wikipedia. I like Wikipedia. So Marshall Bruce Mathers, known professionally as Eminem, he's an American rapper, songwriter, record producer, and actor recognizable for technical virtuosity in rhyme schemes, multisyllabic patterns, and rapid delivery, often channeled through his alter ego Slim Shady to explore themes of personal trauma, addiction, and social alienation. He's raised in Detroit after a nomadic and impoverished early life. So he had a hard start to life, essentially. And he gained mainstream in breakthrough in 1999 with Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment, blending horrorcore. I know what horrorcore is. a subgenre of hardcore hip hop with lyrics centered on horror motifs, including graphic violence, supernatural elements, death, mutilation, and occult references. Lovely. Now, his work has sparked controversy over lyrics depicting graphic violence, misogyny, substance abuse, and familial conflict, which critics have accused of normalizing harm, while supporters view as autobiographical expression, leading to public backlash, censorship debates, and feuds. Right. Born to unmarried parents, Deborah and Marshall, who separated before or shortly after his birth, as maternal side, the Harris surname, okay, yada. Family's nomadic lifestyle involved repeated relocations between Missouri and Michigan, investments of over a dozen moves in his early years, often driven by financial desperation and short-term employments held by his mother. By age 11 or 12, he settled in the Detroit metropolitan area from suburbs like Warren. They had economic hardship, trailer park living, especially urban working class realities without consistent stability. These circumstances instilled early lessons of self-reliance, and he later recounted navigating survival independently from neglect and frequent upheaval. That's interesting. So the idea of becoming more streetwise, being independent seems to be a theme already there. Tension in the household escalated with allegations of maternal abuse, including claims by Mathers that his mother exhibited Munchausen syndrome by proxy. So getting him ill, essentially, and needing to get him ill or pretend that he was ill. Fabricating or inducing illness in to garner attention and medical intervention. That's a terrible, terrible thing to have. She has denied it, of course. Yeah, imagine a parent who just wants to make you ill and needs to make you ill in order to live off the attention of you being ill. It's really bad. When you're sick all the time, you realize actually because your mother's poisoning you so that you can then be ill and therefore she can get the attention of you being ill. So, let me see. It's got hip hop in his preteen years. We are rapping alongside high school acquaintance Mike Ruby. In late 1980s, formed his first group, New Jacks, with DJ Butterfingers. Funny name. So, for Maver's contributions received little local traction due to the group's derivative sound and his status as a white outsider in Detroit's predominantly black underground scene. These early efforts just faced dismissal, with demos often ignored or critiqued for lacking originality. All right, unknown Lewin, please feel free. Just during high school, he frequently skipped classes at Lincoln High and Warren to infiltrate nearby Osborne High School. He escalated involvement in the battle circuit at a hip hop shop, a sneaker store to an open mic venue, where weekly freestyles drew aspiring MCs. These clashes highlighted his technical prowess, dense rhymes, and unfiltered aggression, contrasting the era's smoother, less confrontational styles. Early tapes from such events bombed locally, reinforcing that breakthrough required unrelenting merit over scene favoritism. Okay. So delivering rapid multi-syllable disses that overcame initial mockery for his race and secured respect amid a crowd of skeptics. He basically went on the aggression as very, very quick thinking and very streetwise, essentially. And also just creative in the rhyming as well. He was a single father, goodness. His mother had substance issues, instability, didn't have reliable family support as a child. Okay. Influences in the evolution of style. His early musical influences drew heavily from golden age hip hop artists, known for narrative depth and rhythmic innovation. It has shaped his approach to crafting vivid, character-driven tales in his lyrics. Later figures like Mel and Rakim influenced his adoption of multisyllabic rhyme schemes emphasizing internal rhythms and dense syllable packing over simpler cadences. These elements drawn from 1980s and 1990s rap provided the foundational toolkit for his self-taught lyricism as he absorbed cassette tapes of his actual formative years in Detroit. His stylistic evolution transition from horrorcore-infused aggression, evident in the Slim Shady alter ego's macabre and shock value narratives on albums like the Slim Shady LP, to greater introspection post-2008 sobriety. The shift incorporated themes of addiction recovery and personal accountability without softening his confrontational delivery. So it sounds to me that from quite early on, the extroverted sensation was there, and he'd lean more into the reflective space. Maybe that's extroverted intuition, or maybe it's introverted intuition, but it's something more intuitive. He's sort of grown towards, it sounds like. This change reflected casual adaptation to life experiences, prioritizing emotional authenticity over pure provocation, that retaining rapid flows and punchline density honed earlier. While Dr. Dre's production mentorship refined his sound with polished G-funk beats and studio discipline, he attributes his core raw edge to Detroit battle rap circuits, where freestyle disses sharpened his improvisational wit and unsparing realism. So he basically threw himself into that environment. He just got quick because he was doing that all the time. As a white Midwestern outsider, this battle-forged style enabled depictions of economic hardship and familial dysfunction drawn from direct observation, diverging from the stylized bravado of West Coast gangster rap or East Coast cipher elitism prevalent among his contemporaries. His lyrical technique emphasizes rhyme schemes, multisyllabic rhymes spanning multiple syllables, and internal rhymes that layer sounds within lines for rhythmic density. Wow. He frequently employs near rhymes and assonance to maintain flow while maximizing phonetic complexity, as seen in tracks with phrases like sucker free, confidence high, such a breeze when I pen rhymes, align 7 syllables along lines. This approach elevates his verses beyond simple end rhymes, creating a propulsive cadence verified by his Guinness World Record for the most words in a hit single, Rap God, with 1,560 words, averaging 4.28 words per second. He forms a wordplay forms a cornerstone of his style, incorporating puns, homophones, double entendre, and even quadruple entendre that reward repeated listens. In Not Afraid, he layers homophones and multiples like "You said you was king, you lied for your teeth" for the record, playing on dental imagery, falsehoods, and rap supremacy simultaneously. Another example: "Bald like a baby," twists infant crying, baldness, and baldness and references to rapper Birdman across 4 meanings. These devices demonstrate technical precision over superficial shock, with Eminem dissecting words into symbols. He's quite an artist in that respect, certainly. And narrative construction has depth, as in Stan, escalating fan letters build a psychological thriller of obsession, culminating in tragedy through structured progression mimicking dramatic arcs. Song's epistolary format heightens, basically means like a letter, heightens immersion, blending first person to desperation with Eminem's delayed response to underscore isolation's causality. To navigate personal and thematic extremes, he deploys alter egos as distinct personas. Marshall Mathers embodies introspective vulnerability rooted in autobiography, while Slim Shady channels unrestrained aggression and dark humor, enabling candid exploration of suppressed impulses without real-world restraint. Slim Shady emerged during career struggles, conceived spontaneous creative outlet for Mathers' frustrations. This duality, Mathers for raw honesty, Shady for id-driven release, facilitates multifaceted self-examination, as Eminem has described Shady as a persona permitting statements his core self avoids. The Eminem moniker bridges them as a performative rapper, allowing stylistic shifts across albums. Okay. Allegation of misogyny and homophobia just because of his lyrics, not necessarily because of his behavior. Feud, censorship. His feud with Benzino, co-owner of the Source magazine, escalated after the publication awarded Eminem show 4 out of 5 mics in its review, where Benzino reportedly blocked reaching 5 due to Eminem's race and perceived industry favoritism towards white artists. Eminem responded with the diss track Nail in the Coffin, accusing Benzi of jealousy and incompetence, followed by additional tracks. Rivalry reignited in his Doomsday Part 2 and the Death of Slim Shady album, referencing Benzi's personal life and past accusations. So he's fine with a personal feud. Despite occasional fan speculations, no feud emerged between Eminem and Kendrick Lamar. Both artists expressed mutual respect. He praised Lamar as one of the top tier lyricists of all time. UK student unions banned his music on campus radio for perceived homophobic and misogynistic content. Goodness. Right. To be accused of ideological flip-flopping from anti-Bush and anti-Trump, and a pushback against left-wing orthodoxy, labelling as inconsistent, opportunistic. These shifts reflect personal maturation, sobriety since 2008, disillusionment with partisan media echo chambers, individual accountability over rigid allegiance. Mainstream sources often left leaning frames such as changes regressions. Eminem's output consistently targets perceived hypocrisies across aisles, amongst the cultural forces. He seems pretty gamma to me, if anything. Public image. He's frequently framed as societal menace. His occasional divergences from progressive orthodoxy, such as satirical jabs at pronoun expansions and cancel culture in tracks, which are backlash from left-leaning commentators. Such fluctuations, public perception has exhibited notable stability. It's had 95% fame wares, 56% positive favorability. What else? His most prominent romantic relationship was Kimberly Ann Scott, who met at 17. And she and her twin sister ran away from home and stayed with him and his mother. Goodness. married 10 years later. Fatherhood served as a stabilizing force for him in maintaining sobriety, as he stated about witnessing the impact of his addiction on his children, such as missing Haley's school dance, prompted profound regret and commitment to recovery, having active parenting over mere nominal involvement. Wait, who's Elena again? Right, okay. They share a biological daughter, Haley. Haley met Evan McClintock while attending Michigan State University, began dating 2016. Okay, wait. So they divorced in 2001. So 2 years later, I've known her for 10 years, amid allegations of infidelity and substance issues. They remarried in 2006, private ceremony, and separate later that year and finds divorce in 2007. With joint custody arranged for their daughter. Right, okay. So Haley met Evan McClintock, right? Okay. And became engaged in February. Okay. So he's a grandfather now. Okay, so who's Elena? I'm trying to find where Elena is here. There's Elena. Okay, he also raised and legally adopted Elena Marie Scott, right? Okay, so that makes sense now. Okay, so he said he had one key relationship. They divorced, then got back together again, then divorced again. And it sounds to me as though he hasn't really had a key relationship since then. That's interesting. A pivotal crisis unfolded. Hang on. So his addiction intensified in the early 2000s, filled with heavy reliance on prescription drugs, which was Vicodin for pain, Valium for anxiety and sleep, into daily intakes of a large amount of drugs. Pivotal crisis evolved in 2007 when he overdosed on methadone, collapsing his Detroit home bathroom, entering critical condition. The near-death experience catalyzed a decisive shift, leading to his last rehab admission and the establishment of sobriety in 2008, marking onset of sustained absence from all substances. He's candidly admitted to brief relapses post-2008. His long-term recovery relied on self-initiated strategies, including admitting powerlessness over addiction, securing a personal sponsor, and committing to regular 12-step meetings rather than the sole dependence on clinical intervention. This hybrid approach of structured peer support and individual resolve made him to navigate triggers without external enforcement. It meant he was sober for 16 years. Wow. Endorsed Kamala Harris. His album's lead single satirized progressive identity politics through lines mocking pronoun declarations and cancel culture. His output consistently prioritized personal agency and anti-authoritarianism over rigid partisanship, evident in free speech defenses spanning critiques of both GOP nationalism and cultural conformity. He was raised in an anomaly Christian household with an unstable life involving evangelical influence but little structured practice. He led to absent spiritual guidance amid abuse. Right. Okay, so that's the main parts of the article. So let's see something from on YouTube. Overall, I'm getting the impression of someone who is there's quite a bit of introverted ethics, perhaps. I'm not sure. There's clearly some extrovert sensation going on. He seems like a gamma. We'll have to see. Maybe some sort of gamma SF. I'm not sure. See an interview. He rhymes the word orange. What is this?
Always get checked. This could save your life.
Nice story. We'll go to
This latte dough makes busy days easier for you. Enjoy cafe quality coffees from fresh beans.
I've heard you say that you bend the word. Yeah.
It's a bit of YouTube really up the ads recently.
It's just in the enunciation of it. Like people say that the word orange doesn't rhyme with anything. And that kind of pisses me off because I can think of a lot of things that rhyme with orange. What rhymes with orange? If you're taking the word at face value and you just say orange, nothing is going to rhyme with it exactly. If you enunciate it and you make it like more than one syllable, orange, you could say like, I put my orange 4-inch door hinge in storage and ate porridge, George. You just have to figure out the science to breaking down words and try to. And do you think about this throughout the day? I mean, you're driving along, you think about.
It's more of a loose approach to rhyming.
All day. Yeah, I actually drive myself insane with it. But it's interesting. I mean, for a guy who hated school, who, was in the 9th grade 3 times, you spend all your time thinking about words. I found that no matter how bad I was at school, and no matter how low my grades might have been at sometimes, I always was good at English. But I heard that you used to read the dictionary. I just felt like I want to be able to have all these words at my disposal in my vocabulary at all times, whenever I need to pull them out. Somewhere they'll be stored, locked away.
His words are stored, but they're not exactly locked away. He actually keeps them in boxes.
So you store stuff in just the boxes like that? Yes.
Inside are hundreds of scraps of paper on which he's obsessively scrawled down words and phrases.
So, wait, this is a
Wow.
This is a pad from a hotel in Paris. Looks like. Yeah. And you just scribbled that. You have 4 little words. Just scribbled that. How do you even read this? I know what it says, I guess. I don't know that I might use it. Actually,
They're not
It
lyrics.
keeps it all
They're just
physical.
ideas.
Doesn't
Flex.
no sort of I mean, this was 2000 and still nothing on the computer, all in the box. Fascinating.
His real name is Marshall Mathers, but you probably know him as Eminem. He's the biggest selling artist of the past decade, earning 11 Grammys, 1 Oscar, and mountains of criticism for lyrics that are as profane as they are poetic. Whether you're a fan of rap or not, Eminem's life story is an extraordinary tale of success against all odds.
Never
Something
shown to
he
be
doesn't talk
smiling.
much about, but
Very
it's sound.
serious looking.
We met up with him in his hometown, Detroit, in order to find out how a white kid who never made it past the 9th grade was able to propel himself to the top of a
Never made it past the
predominantly
9th grade.
African-American art form.
The story will continue in a moment.
Eminem stepped out of the shadows last month in Detroit in front of 40,000 people. It was a triumphant comeback for a superstar who'd all but disappeared. At 37, sober after struggling with addiction for the past 5 years, Eminem has the energy and intensity of a boxer. Fighter trying to win from the crowd one simple thing.
respect, respect. You know, not sound corny enough, but I felt like a fighter coming up, man. I felt like I'm being
Like a
attacked for this reason
fighter.
or that reason, and I gotta fight my way through this.
Gonna fight his way to respect.
He was a kid living on the rough side of Detroit's 8 Mile, the road dividing the white suburbs from the mostly black city. 8 Miles, also the title of the critically acclaimed movie Eminem starred in. His character based largely on himself, an aspiring white rapper with a dead-end job, a troubled mother, and a dream of escaping his bleak life. I mean, you still come back here?
Yeah.
To understand how Eminem got to where he is today, you need to know where he came from. Not just a broken home, but a series of them. Raised by a single mom, they lived hand to mouth, on and off welfare, constantly moving from one place to another. So you had to change schools every couple months?
Yeah, I would change schools 2-3 times
No
a
wonder
year.
he struggled
That
at
was-
school.
That was probably the roughest part.
The roughest and most formative. He was a shy kid in tough public schools and was frequently bullied. You got beat up a lot as a kid.
Yeah, there was a lot of instances that I would
You got beat up coming home from school.
beat up in the bathroom, beat up in the hallways, shoved in the lockers, just for the most part, man, just being a new kid.
He discovered rap as a teenager, and in its tough talk and street smart sound, found his voice. Dropping out of high school, he began competing in local rap battles depicted in the movie. One-on-one verbal fights where the goal was to come up with the cleverest rhymes and the best insults.
Hip hop has always been about bragging and boasting, and I'm better than you with this, and I'm better than you with that. And I finally found something that, this kid over here, he may have more chicks, like he may have better clothes or whatever, but he can't do this like me. You know what I mean? He can't write what I'm writing right now. And it started to feel like,
Which is very extroverted sensation.
maybe Marshall's getting a little respect.
That respect was hard won. He was often the only white guy competing in underground clubs like this one. Did you feed off the fact that people maybe underestimated you or didn't respect you early on?
Definitely. I think that there was certainly like a rebellious, like youthful rage kind of in me, and there was also the fact of the no getting away from fact that I am white, and this is predominantly black music, and people telling me you don't belong, like you're not going to succeed because you're this color. Then you want to show those people that that you can and you will.
My name is... Ever since Eminem broke out from the underground and into the mainstream in 1999, he's amazed audiences and critics alike with his ability to tell stories through music.
Just gonna
And rapid-fire wordplay. He writes his own songs and delights in rhyming words others can't.
Sweet bombs to the head, and it's romping on the sweater already. Bombs spaghetti, surface. And on the surface, looks calm and red. The drop bombs when it keeps on steady. When it drops.
So I would start out slow.
We talked to him about how he does it in his private recording studio. I've heard you say that you bend the words.
Yeah, it's just in the enunciation of it. Like people say that the word orange doesn't rhyme with anything.
It's the orange
It
part.
kind of pisses me off because I can think of a lot of things that rhyme with orange.
What rhymes with orange?
If you're taking the word at face value and you just say orange, nothing is going to rhyme with it exactly. If you enunciate it and you make it like more than one syllable, orange, you could say like all day. Yeah, I actually drive myself insane with it.
But it's interesting. I mean, for a guy who hated school, who was in the ninth grade 3 times, you spend all your time thinking about words.
I found that no matter how bad I was at school, like, and no matter how low my grades might have been at sometimes, I always was good at English.
But I heard that you used to read the dictionary.
I just felt like I want to be able to have all these words at my disposal in my vocabulary at all times whenever I need to pull them out. Somewhere they'll be stored, like locked away.
His words are stored, but they're not exactly locked away. He actually keeps them in boxes.
Wow. Yeah, there's the boxes of stuff again.
Yes.
Inside are hundreds of scraps of paper.
So if it's like it's sharpening his inventory, it's keeping this stuff available to use for these rap battles. I think it's quite a gamma motivation there. This idea that you can't tell me what I can't be part of, I will be part of it. I can succeed in the circle. You can't tell me otherwise is another key thing there.
On which he's obsessively scrawled down words and phrases. Wait, this is a pad from a hotel in Paris, looks like.
Yeah.
And you just scribbled that. You have 4 little words, just scribbled that. How do you even read this? This is
I know what it says, I guess. I don't know that I might use that. Actually,
They're not lyrics, really. They're just ideas that he collects. He calls it stacking ammo.
so it's just like when I feel
Stacking ammo, exactly.
They kind of look like this.
yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. Either all in capital letters or sort of scrawled on pages like this.
Yeah, well, that's probably because I'm crazy.
Listen to the
It's not
lyrics
very
of these
structured.
songs, and you do get the feeling his music has been a painfully public way of settling scores, including with his mother and his father, who left him when he was 6 months old.
I never knew him, so
You never met him.
never met him, never knew him.
Do you want to? Or?
I don't know. I don't know. Some people ask me that. I don't think I do. I can't understand how, if my kids would move to the edge of the earth, I'd find them. No doubt in my mind. No money, no nothing. If I had nothing, I'd find my kids. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse.
Eminem may be fiercely protective of his kids, but he's been accused of being harmful to just about everybody else's. The language he's used in songs sparked protests and accusations that he promoted violence against women and gays. He's been branded a misogynist
I am wondering about
and
SE.
homophobe.
Felt like I was being attacked.
Like you were being singled out.
I was being singled out, and I felt like, is it because of the color of my skin? Is it because of that you're paying more attention? Is it because there's certain rappers that do and say the same things that I'm saying, and I don't hear no one saying anything about that. I didn't just
I'm not sure yet.
invent saying offensive things. This is,
I mean, some of the lyrics, like in a song "Kill You," you say, "Bitch, I'm gonna kill you." You don't want to F with me. You say, "My words like a dagger with a jagged edge that'll stab you in the head." Whether you're a fag or a les, hate fags, the answer is yes.
yeah. The scene that I came up in, that word was thrown around so much. Faggot was like, it was thrown around constantly to each other, like in battling. That was just
but I mean, do you not like gay people?
No, I don't have any problem with nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just whatever.
And for some parent who's listening to this and says, well, my kid hears you calling somebody bitch or using the F word,
and starts to use it themselves. Do you feel a sense of responsibility?
I feel like it's your job to parent them. If you're the parent, be a parent. You know what I mean? I'm a parent that have daughters. I mean, how would
Quite
I
a gamma
really sound
response.
as a person like walking around my house? You know, bitch, pick this up. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
That's not how you are in your life.
Profanity around my house, no. But this is music. This is my art. This is what I do.
I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am?
Despite the controversy, or maybe because of it, he's sold more than 80 million albums worldwide. He admits he's had a hard time adjusting to all the attention.
Then why would I say that?
For much of his career, he was high during performances and eventually became addicted to Vicodin, Valium, and Ambien. In December of 2007, he overdosed, collapsing in the bathroom of his home. You almost died.
Yeah, definitely.
How close do you think you were to dying?
They said 2 hours. If I would have got to the hospital 2 hours later, that would have been it. Because my organs, everything, my kidneys, everything were failing. Everything was shutting down.
He's been sober 2.5 years now, but has had to teach himself how to write again, rap again, and even how to perform, as he told us hours before a Detroit concert promoting his new album called Recovery. So this is your first U.S. stadium concert that you're sober?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you ever, I mean, when you look out, you know, and you see 40,000 people and they're all singing your songs, I mean,
It's crazy.
Oh,
I mean, an artist can say that they get used to it, but I think that they're probably lying if they do. Because you gotta be wild, man. You gotta be taken back by seeing this many people in their faces, and you know what I mean.
and do you actually see their faces when you're
Oh
performing?
yeah, I do now. You know,
You do now.
before it was it was big blur.
everybody in here tonight who is an Eminem fan, man, I just want to take a minute out to say thank you for the support that y'all have shown me and for not giving up on me on some real shit. Thank you, man. Especially you, Detroit. I love you. This song is for you.
His songs are still deeply personal, but some of the hard-edged anger has softened. In his new song, Not Afraid, he offers a hand to those in need. Say, everybody come take my hand, we'll walk this road together. 10 years ago, could you have imagined yourself rapping something like that?
Probably not. You know, I don't want to go overboard with it, but I do feel like that if I can help people that have been through a similar situation, then why not?
Thank you, man. Love you.
Go to 60minutesovertime.com to go backstage and behind the scenes on the Eminem story with Anderson Cooper, sponsored by Pfizer.
Right. Let's see what else there is. Not sure about that. What's philosophy on diss tracks? Let's see this. I hope this doesn't get it taken down. John Ross, look, more entertainment value than actually diving in deep. This could be interesting. Try this one.
Y'all ready to be history? Yep. Here we go. We're out of here. All right, here we go. That's it.
Sway.
Yeah.
So before we get started, will you please sign this?
Oh, shit. Damn. Wow. Oh, wow.
Look at how you look like
that.
kid. You're a kid there.
Damn, man, I was a baby, bro.
Crazy.
That's our teenage years. Y'all didn't know I had bars once upon a time, huh? Yeah, you want me to say Marshall? You want me to say?
Yes, please.
Okay. That's MARSHALL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. Look
Hell
at that.
yeah.
And I signed a vinyl for him, man. Look at that, man. Look at
Incredible.
Look
Yo,
at that shit.
man, your signature's so much better than mine. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Man, you threw me off with that.
Fucked up your whole shit.
Not really. Just impressed that you dug that deep in the crates, man. I didn't know you.
I'm always digging in the crates.
That's good to know, man. That's good to know. If you want to use any lyrics from
Yeah,
any
because
of
he's
the
obsessive.
vinyl,
Well,
bro.
that I was gonna ask you when the cameras are off. There's a couple bars that I wish I could have.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Go ahead, man. What's mine is yours, man. If it make your shit tighter, you know. Let's speak on bars, though. Here we are. Kamikaze came out. You know, you shocked the world the way you did it. What made you do it? I mean, a Revival came out December 2017. That wasn't that long ago. It's less than a year. What made you just?
Yeah, but a lot of people of different types have a problem with Trump.
I feel like the way the climate is right now, if you give people enough time to, I got an album coming out in 2 months. You give people time to say, man, he better have a song like this.
Exactly, Isaac. There is almost a breadth focus there.
He better not be rapping like this. He better not be rapping about this, or I'm not gonna fuck with it. And when you go into an album, you go into anything with the mindset of this is gonna suck. And then even if you kind of don't feel that way, you're already kind of formed your opinion in front of all your friends, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like giving them no warning was the best thing to do, just because it doesn't give people enough time to, you know, when the Revival track list came down the pipe.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was like, overwhelmingly, this shit is gonna be trash.
Yeah.
And
that was
nobody really wanted to be wrong about it.
Yeah.
They had already formed, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people had already, formed their opinions. So.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like, Revival really ran through the ringer, so to speak, before it even got off the ground. But, you know, this is that day and age, you know.
Yeah.
You know, how have you adjusted to that? Like, before, which is what I find interesting about you, before you spent your whole career being critiqued and criticized by organizations like LGBTQ community or college campuses or police departments, you know, but hip-hop always stood by you. So that was, you know, that's where you found your refuge. But now it came from inside of hip-hop. You know, how did that affect you?
Me sitting back and seeing things that I saw, it was kind of like, I felt a bunch of different ways. I felt like, okay, maybe because it doesn't sound like everything else, and what most people are doing, maybe that was what tainted their ear. Because I remember a time in hip hop where you had to be so different from the next person, or you were trash. There's a shift somewhere that happened that if it doesn't sound like everything else, then it's trash automatically.
Yeah.
And I just sat back like, okay, all right, I can take that. It's not like I can't take constructive criticism, but I feel like it kind of went beyond constructive criticism. So I had to go back to it. And look, I have made albums that definitely probably would not be the top of my list. Encore.
Okay.
Relapse, which I believe Encore is a better album than Relapse. Relapse is something that I looked at in a couple of years, went back to and cringed at. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I didn't even realize I was doing that many accents. I just started, for whatever reason, I just got into it and was just like, started on this weird serial killer vibe kind of thing.
Yeah.
And started wanting to talk crazy and started bending words more. And the only way you can bend them is with this accent, trying to use this one. Like,
so he gets into things
a couple years later,
almost obsessively
in making Recovery and
tries different things in that space.
And beyond it,
intense focus on things like that.
Yeah. And I always say that if it wasn't for Relapse, I wouldn't have been able to make Recovery. And if it wasn't for Revival, I wouldn't have been able to make this album. So I'm good with it. Just, you know,
that's some introvert intuition. If it weren't for this, it would have this, it would this, it would this.
A little far with it.
A little far with it. I want to get into that too. And I almost, you know, when I listen
I am
to
leaning
Kamikaze,
SE.
and I hear some people say, man, that's the vintage M we wanted. You know, we wanted Shady back, right? And when I listen to it, man, I have to admit, man, I hear.
I'm not seeing someone who is depth oriented over breadth oriented.
The way I've done.
I'm not seeing someone who
like the fact that you're not running from the criticism. I like the fact that in this digital,
He doesn't seem to be extrovert, intuition blind.
Reforming to what people think you should sound like, or how people think you
It's
should.
more about
act,
what's
and
his
you're
problem in
calling
life?
it out.
Stability,
Yeah. I actually
consistency.
like some of these
That's
reviews
kind of in the
that
problem
you
he's
see
had.
on YouTube that take people's
Keeping himself
message,
together.
They have fun with it. I look at these kids,
Whereas
and I see
going
us,
off
we were
into
listening
an
to myself,
unfamiliar territory and just
YouTube, and we'll go through
almost
the
getting
TV.
into the competition of it and being sort of streetwise and
So-
puffing himself up to it and then learning these skills and sharpening his arsenal to come out on top. That's been his sort of natural journey.
That in tune, like in the beginning of Ringer, when you talk about if you critique me, you know, you can make millions. If I critique you, there's nothing I really.
Yeah, it gets into the territory where it's like you got okay. So since the internet has become what the internet's become, and since YouTube and all that, you've got so many. How can I say this? It's almost like not enough Indians, too many chiefs. So it's like everybody on the internet, and in hip hop especially, it seemed like either a rapper, a DJ, a writer, a producer has something to do with it. And I love the fact that so many people now have been able to get on easier than it was for me or you back in the day, because we didn't have this platform. So I appreciate the platform. It's just that now you've got people that not only are doing the same thing and they can do it better, but you've got people who don't do anything and are just critiquing it. So I sat back and I'm like, okay, that's fine. People can talk crazy about me. That's fine. They should express themselves, and they have a right to. But I also get to say whatever the fuck I want about you now. I'm, like I said, I'm with rival. Fuck it. Because I couldn't have made this album without that.
Yeah.
And there is something, I'm not going to lie, there is something inside me that is a little more happy when I'm angry. It's like, as bad as it feels to be there, there's also something about it. There's a rush of it that I like, because it inspires me to say something back. So you get in that weird area too, where it's like, oh, he says he doesn't care about what anybody thinks about him, but now he cares about what anybody thinks about him. No, he's just saying he don't care. He'll say anything he wants about you if you say it about him, because he doesn't care. Like, there's so many different levels to not caring about shit. You know what I'm saying? But it was interesting.
And that suggests to me of like, the balance between the extroverted ethics and introverted ethics potentially here.
Christ. Like, and then it was interesting to watch.
He's not just super sincere. He's not just
more septic remakes.
It's not just the introverted ethics here.
With 2 Chainz and put that out in January, you touched on, you guys formed your opinion just from a track.
And that's where I was at.
Yeah.
At that point in time, that's definitely where I was at. But I watched people going, oh, why wasn't this on Revival? Honestly, what if I said it was on Revival? You won't know because you didn't listen probably.
Yeah.
But I kind of felt like, okay, I guess this is what people might want. Because I'm always stuck in that, what the fuck do people want? Like you were saying, that the old M is back and he's too old to be the old M. He can't do it. Like, no matter what, when I zig, I should have zagged. No matter what. You got half and half every fucking single time.
You kind of say that. You allude to it in one of the songs where you said you set the bar so high that, you know, at this point, you know, everything's considered a failure. Like, you're almost competing with yourself.
Yeah.
And you touch on it a lot in every song. Well, not every song, but majority of songs you touch on it, I appreciate. But I have to, like, the Joe Budden thing is really interesting, because that, along with MGK, of course, is making a lot of noise out there. And it throws a lot of folks off. When Joe first started commenting, it was mixed reactions. Some people said it was disloyal. Some people said, man, he's entitled to his opinion. I would assume that obviously it got under your skin, considering the relationship you've had with him with Slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
How do you how do you describe your relationship with Joe Budden? How do you describe your relationship with Joe Budden?
I mean, listen, me and Joe Budden aren't, we're not friends like that. We're not like, we didn't go to the same fucking high school or something. You know what I'm saying? So I get that part. But when I'm out here flying around to different places and doing interviews and trying to use my platform to pump up Slaughterhouse every chance I get, and you're using your platform to fucking trash me, and I'm one of the things that keeps this shit moving. Do you know what I'm saying? So you're doing something, you got a voice in hip hop, so you actually could be affecting this ship a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't owe me nothing. But I've never gotten a fucking interview and been like, Joe Budden shit is fucking trash. And that last album he put out is fucking trash. So that's kind of the attitude I took to the whole album. Kamikaze is like, all right, what if I give everybody my opinion about them?
But look, I want to talk about Slaughterhouse because there's a lot of, including myself, people that
Again,
really
plenty of
feel
extroverted
the
sensation
Slaughterhouse
with
side
introverted
was
ethics there.
You know, I know there's a Glass House album that was pretty much completed but never released, right?
Where we had left it about 2 years ago was everybody came in and some
It doesn't seem that introverted ethics in the driver's seat.
guys didn't feel those beats like the other beats, and it was like there was definitely enough songs to put an album out, but for the most part it wasn't a complete picture because everybody wasn't on the same page of what their favorite songs were. So I thought they were gonna go back home, regroup, and try to make a few more songs. I didn't hear anything from that, and then at that point I started getting really deep in.
Oh.
Igor is the coach, so he bought a .coach domain name with Squarespace.
Into Revival, I was recording every day. So a couple months go by.
I'm not sure what you mean by relating everything to the big picture. Not sure of that at all.
Was told that here's first song. But Joe said, Slaughterhouse ain't hot right now. We don't have a buzz. We need to put out a mixtape. From that point, everybody
Does an
started
example come to mind?
Reese went and did his album, Prime. Like, everybody started doing their own kind of solo shit. So I thought they were just happy with that.
It's all about what this person did, what that person did, how he feels about that, what they did, how he reacts to that, here's a situation. Doesn't seem relating to the big picture.
Welcome to Our House. That was another album that I felt like, holy shit, people literally just trashed this. They trashed this album. There was a huge fucking backlash of, oh man, this ain't what we want to hear. It sounds too polished and all this shit. Like, you're critiquing these guys who are fucking wordsmiths. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's a certain type of person that, oh man, I only like the beats. There's a certain type of person that will lean towards lyrics more. There's a certain type of person that will lean towards a voice more. They like better. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody leans towards their own thing, but
quite
I was
intense
just like,
in conversation.
Holy shit. Because to me, the beats were crazy on that album. And only thing I did was added my little touch of like sprinkling music in these tracks and mixing them to try to bring out, the production a little bit. Which I don't even know if I did any actual beats on there on the first album, but all I heard was the backlash that it was too polished.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, let's do another album, and then you guys do what you want to do with it. Which is kind of, we left the ball in their court kind of thing. So I didn't want to touch it in the sense of like, other than give my opinions on songs, I didn't want to touch it with my production because I felt like, what if that is the reason that they didn't sell albums? I don't want to hinder that. You know what I'm saying? So we gave him another album.
To what he wants.
Next thing I know, I hear Joe talking about who got that money, who got what money. Like,
he did say, I saw a clip that he put up, an interview with him and Crooked, that he felt like that maybe, perhaps, like he alluded that you and Paul got majority of the money.
But the album, I hate to say this because I think the guys are super fucking talented, but the album didn't do much to even recoup the first budget. Then we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on the second album that never came out. What money didn't you get? I don't know if I made a fucking dime off Slaughterhouse. I don't care if I made nothing. I believed in them. So I wanted them to be huge, man. I really did. I wanted a group that lyrical to fucking just bust through everything. You know what I'm saying? And it definitely hurt my feelings a lot when the album didn't do good, the first album. It was just like, fuck, man. Like when we got CeeLo on the hook of the My Life song, I was like, yo, this might be out of here.
What was the?
It's also he extends into helping with things. He doesn't just stick to a particular line.
That was what that was.
What's that?
He's confirmed a T-type now. I don't know what you're saying.
It was attack, but it was also saying that his alleged domestic abuse.
He wants that thing to do really well.
I'm not going to get to, but I feel like.
So I
feel like
I'm confused. Where's the system focus based judgment? I haven't seen that at all. You saw people who are highly lyrical, highly skilled, highly talented. He wanted to do very, very well, and then for whatever reason, it did not do well, and his feelings were hurt because it didn't do well. And he actually invested quite a lot into getting that over the line. He didn't actually care as much about himself making it. Probably wanted to help those people. Where's the system focus based judgment there? Not sure.
The reason I had to do that is because, like I said, there's a fine line between saying, you know what, this guy's really been cool to me. He's helped me out and tried to help out on many occasions. So I'm not going to go in on Untouchable like that. I'm going to say it ain't for me. I'm not crazy about it. Whatever. But to be the worst song you've ever heard in your life, have you listened to your own shit? Do you not listen back? Because if that's the worst fucking song you've ever heard in your life,
That's just the way you
let's talk about what this person said about that thing, what that person said about this. Is that really what you think? What does that mean in terms of how I relate to you?
Would you pay for it?
This is not a logical conversation. It's an ethical conversation.
It's interesting. So we'll never see that Glass House album, probably, as far as you know.
I don't know.
No, that's not. Hey, wait.
I wanted you.
He just criticized based on it being successful. Talked about numbers using logical criteria and everything of that don't. He talked about numbers. He talked about it making money. That's not structure. And he just talked about what someone has said in regards to dissing his music. When is their music as good? And he's actually put his time in for helping these people. So it's not really about structure. It's about how people are treating each other, what people are saying about it. That's the focus of the conversation. And even if it were about numbers, that wouldn't itself make itself a system focus based judgment. Numbers are not often that much to do with systems and far more to do with measures of quantity, which aren't systemic.
Just make it clear, though, that aside from the Joe shit, I think that Slaughterhouse is one of the best rap groups ever to ever happen. But that being said, I wish their first album would have connected.
Yeah.
To more people than it did. I don't. To this day, I still don't. Me and Paul are like, what the fuck happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, but look, man, everybody's not gonna like everything you put out all the time. So
that was a dream team of MCs, though, and I think a lot to what you're saying in regards to why aren't people reacting to these wordsmiths is that's how we came up, you know. And honestly, what people may not realize is that's what really separated hip hop from R&B, rock and roll, and other genres was our ability to bend words to create patterns that made it unique to our genre specifically, which it seems like it's something that doesn't get any credibility.
It's all ethics.
Not everybody put a whole lot into that. Now, they don't give a lot of credence to that, you know, which is probably Slaughterhouse could have been a victim of that. that kind of ideology. You also on this album, you went in on MGK. You guys had a discrepancy. He mentioned it in his response song, "Rap Devil." You know that it's called "Sway," and ask him why I can't get on Shade 405. That was
The criteria in sociologics is that their strength is in logic rather than ethics, but they're more effective at processing
405
impersonal,
I had to see him again and say, "Hey man, I don't
patched
know
information,
but until that
where
gets clear,
judgments are made according to what the facts are, what the rules are,
Well, the shit is,
not about how they feel,
just
not
from
about how people relate to each other. That's more ethics.
going on that he was saying about my daughter. I didn't even know about that until like literally like a year and a half later.
Okay.
I wasn't. It never hit my radar. And then one day, you know, you go down the fucking wormhole of YouTube and whatever, right? So I see Machine Gun Kelly talks about Eminem's daughter, whatever, right? So what the fuck? Click on it. Like, yo, why is he? Then he starts doing a press run basically about Haley. I'm like, what the fuck? Yo, my man better chill, right? So that's not why I dissed him. The reason I dissed him is actually a lot more petty than that.
Okay.
The reason that I dissed him is because he got on. First he said, first when he said, I'm the greatest rapper alive since my favorite rapper banned me from Shade 45 or whatever he said, right? Like I'm trying to hinder his career. So I don't give a fuck about your career. You think I actually fucking think about you? You know how many fucking rappers that are better than you? You're not even in the fucking conversation.
So that's a
you fucking blower.
Now let's talk about competence. Competence, how effective, how good you actually are, and where you are in relation to me. You're not even on my radar, not even there. It's extrovert sensation. That's the more sort of petty diss aspect.
Screenshot of his Twitter, and it says, "Had some shit to get off my chest. You just rap. You not God." Some shit like that, and I was like,
a reference to the Rap God song.
Yeah. So I'm like, on the song he said, "Y'all just rap. You not gods." And on Twitter, he said, "You just rap, you not God." Had some shit to get off my chest. And I'm seeing, and by the way, this was on the heels of the freestyle he had just did about Shade 45s. Like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Now I'm in this fucking weird thing because I'm like, I gotta answer this motherfucker. And every time I do that, it makes that person as irrelevant as people say I am.
Does he have to answer this person?
I make them bigger by getting into this thing where I'm like, I want to destroy him.
Yes.
But I also don't want to make him bigger. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because now you're a fucking enemy. So,
and that's factoring in the extroverted ethics. He does not ignore extroverted ethics. He just doesn't value it compared to
still kind of waiting.
Gamma value.
You haven't heard his Rap Devil response?
No, I heard it.
What do you think of it?
It's not bad for him. He has some good lines in it.
Did y'all really call Interscope to try to shelve his?
Fuck no. I ain't never made a fucking call.
These reactions as well.
My Spire experience was.
I think SEE. I do. I think SEE.
Don't feel like just another.
I'm struggling to see here a guy who's the introverted ethics is there, sure, but I'm struggling to see someone for whom introverted sensation is a demonstrated function. I'm struggling to see someone for whom extroverted intuition is a vulnerable function. I see a guy who's actually refocused on pushing his extroverted sensation and his extroverted logic, really growing into his extroverted logic over time, really sharpening that arsenal, that array of knowledge he uses to actually construct his rhymes. The introverted ethics is there. There is also factoring in how things then play out across extroverted ethics, how people then perceived. He is thinking about that. I don't want to make him bigger by attacking and calling him out. He's bouncing with his desire to then actually attack and diss. The extroverted sensation is a consistent thing throughout. There isn't much chill. He's quite an intense figure. but it's not the intensity of someone who doesn't understand their bodily needs either. But there is intensity. There's presence there. So yeah, I think SEE. And also I look at his notes and how it's a box and it's literally scroll things there, scroll things there. It's all over the place. There's no desire to sort of streamline the information. There isn't much sign of introverted logic there. And also his attitude towards rhyming, another thing. Nothing rhymes with orange, not really. If you define what a rhyme is, it has to preserve the word, and you have to change the beginning of a word, and the end needs to be the same and sound the same. And nothing actually does that for orange. That's the point. But he says, look, I'm not interested in these rules and technicalities. I can make it sound like I can make it sound like porridge. I can make it sound like storage. I can make it sound like lots of different things. And yeah, pragmatically speaking, yeah, you can make it and it works in the rhyme. And it's how he makes it work that is far more important to him than the technicality, what can and can't rhyme. Which I think again is the rejection of the introverted logic there in favor of extroverted logic. So yeah, there are multiple reasons why watching these videos, I think SEE makes a lot of sense for him. And I've always assumed ESI because when I first started in socionics, I knew that's what was thought of what his type was. And I didn't know as much at the time. I never really looked very deep into him. I thought, okay, must seem ESI. He's also quite stone-faced most of the time. But you see him in interaction, he's actually quite an engaged figure. And you look at you look into his reasonings and why he's doing stuff. There's more of an energy allocation for the extroverted stuff than the introverted stuff. I think there is some introverted intuition there. We're going to and his description how if this hadn't happened, this hadn't happened, if it hadn't happened. But this is also very much, I think, a guy who's gone into rehab. He's been on the journey. He has learnt to almost see things in terms of if I hadn't been here, I wouldn't have been there. If I hadn't been here, I wouldn't have been there. That seems to me rather than something he has set out for himself. That is someone explaining to look, you needed to go through this to get to where you are today. He needed a sponsor. He needed someone to actually, he needed almost a relationship with someone else on that journey who could then help to bring that to clarity for him so he doesn't then go off on the edge and start, relapsing. But almost he needed that relapse to go into the rehab, to have the revival, the recovery. So the way he spoke about it was almost like a realization he had come to through talking with someone else, potentially. I don't know that for sure, but that's what it seems like as a way of sort of coming to terms of what he then went through in that relapse and then that recovery. But yeah, what's front and center seems to me to be very much the extrovert sensation. There's introverted ethics there. Extroverted logic is there. I do not think his extroverted logic is a weak point. He seems very much saying, look, I'm better. I can see how well you're doing at this, and I can see how well I'm doing at this. He's talking in terms of competence quite a bit here. Could he be LIE? I don't think so. I think there's very much a lucidity in terms of how he relates to things. There isn't a detachment. He doesn't seem to be a very detached person from his emotions, his feelings in the moment, and the viscerality of the engagement. That seems to be the first key thing for him. Going into things directly, having these sorts of rap battles and sort of learning on the spur in the moment. It's a bit like if you look at say an anime character like say a Goku or a Luffy, where literally they learn to fight by fighting. They go into the thick of it and they learn and they develop mastery in doing that. He did exactly the same thing when it came to being amazing at rapping, freestyle. He did it by throwing himself in there. There wasn't so much of the planning. Later, he'd go and start building, well, not that much later, but he'd start to think, okay, now I need to equip myself to become better. But to start with, just throwing himself into it. So yeah, I think SEE makes the most sense on balance looking through all of this. Right, I'm mindful I need to go to the loo, so we'll take a quick loo break, but then we're going to go to Trey Parker. And if anyone else wants you to type anyone else, please feel free to make a super chat of at least $20. Any more, and I can prioritize you in the queue. And yeah, it has to be a public figure, it has to be someone there's enough information about me to type them. If you'd like to do that, please do that. And when I come back from the loo break, we can continue. So yeah, I'll be right back in just a second. All right. So let's continue. Trey Parker. And by the way, as you can see, if anyone's following the comments, Isaac is really, really, really hot at knowing exactly what I'm thinking when I'm looking at these people. Now, how did he get that hot at doing that? Well, one, he's a very, very intelligent chap, but two, he took the type mastery pathway. And if that's something you'd like to do, if you'd like to develop your skill sets and being able to assess personality type, to see what I'm seeing, and then be able to make those assessments with the sophistication of an expert in the field, then the best way to do that, in my view, in my very self-serving view, of course, is for you to take the WSS Type Mastery pathway. That is over 24 hours worth of content, over not including the over 100 video examples of every different aspect of every different type, going all into the theory, the information metabolism elements, the functions, the types, the intertype relationships, how to then type people, going through every single dichotomy that makes it all up. It is really the complete explanation of Model A and the different parts of the dichotomies and how they fit together to create the whole system. So if you want all of that, definitely consider taking the WSS Type Mastery Pathway. Yeah, something which Isaac did, and you can see you can see just what that produces, because Isaac really is on the board here. Yeah. So right, let's move on to Trey Parker. So Randolph 7 Trey Parker. So how does where does the Trey come from in Randolph 7? Not sure. Oh, interesting. So this is one from Isaac that is not a comic book person. Instead, they're known for co-creating the animated television series South Park with Matt Stone. Doesn't mean we're looking at Matt Stone next week. Let's see. So that's an irreverent series that satirizes politics, religion, culture through animation and equal opportunity offense. Very true. They make fun of anyone and everything. So he was born in 1969 to geologist Randolph Randy Parker II. His one older sister, Shelley. His childhood was that of a shy child who maintained decent academic performance and participated in honors classes. Showed early interest in music and film, beginning piano lessons around age 12, ordered comedy for exposure to Monty Python sketches. Nice. On television starting third grade. I don't appreciate how much the Americans like South Park. Sorry, Americans like Monty Python. But yeah, they seem to very much do. My wife cannot bear Monty Python, cannot play it in her presence, which is a shame because I quite like Monty Python. What can you do? His pursuits laid foundation of creative habits, though he showed no formal training in animation until later years. Family dynamics later informed character archetypes in South Park. Parents Randy and Sharon mirroring the real life couples' professions and names. Daughter's name echoing Shelley's. No major public controversy, upheavals, marked upbringing, which remained stable in a small town setting. That's very nice. Early career adventures. Matt Stone signed collaborations on short films. He spent home in satirical style, blending irreverence with rudimentary animation techniques such as paper cutouts. He was created an animation class which he recorded his Japanese-born roommate Junichi Nishimura's ranting for 5 minutes about U.S. historical events for animating to a chaotic narrated overview from Christopher Columbus's 1992 arrival to contemporary politics. For earned a silver medal. I want to see that. I'll see if I can find that on YouTube. That's going to be cool. University influence drew from his musical theatre experiences in high school productions like Grease, Sporting and Life Still filmmaking, watching a DIY ethos that prioritized humor over polish. Yep. Hinton expanded these into their first feature, Cannibal the Musical. Such intense effort, including Parker's composition of 10 original songs, it derailed his academics, leading to flunk out without a degree in 1993. Wow, this period marked the genesis of their partnership. It's on the boundary-pushing comedy route and Parker's pivot from music composition to visual storytelling. Okay. So you really hyper-focus, and that puts a huge amount of effort. Doesn't balance things at other aspects of his life in doing so. And also is more interested in the humor over the polish. So not much of an emphasis on the introverted sensation there, one could say. Yeah, shoestring budget. Just getting it out, really. The film featured original songs co-composed by Parker, parody Western tropes and Roger Hammerstein-style musicals with a plot following Parker's ill-fated mining party amid blizzards, conflicts, and eventual cannibalism. So Packer, not Parker, right? Alfred Packer, right? Cannibal the musical. Very good. Reminds me of my production of Othello, the black comedy. Also had the exclamation mark. Right. Okay. Eight additional episodes that escalated satirical targets, including celebrity culture, politics, and social issues. Standout installments like Gnomes critiqued corporate globalization through absurd child labor schemes, while season three's Rainforest lampoon environmental activism sustained high viewership. The 3.8 Nielsen rating for a Halloween episode and propelling the Comedy Central one of the fastest growing cable networks. The duo's equal opportunity offense approach, avoiding deference to any ideology, drew both acclaim for boundary-pushing comedy and backlash with FCC fine threats and solidified the series' dominance in basic cable animation. Oh, he did Team America as well, yeah. It's all very, very silly stuff. Like Team America is obviously silly, but it is also satirical, and it just makes fun of everyone and everything. That's the key point. No one should be taken too seriously. Anyone and everything can be laughed at. Is basically the philosophy behind these two people. Oh, we did the Book of Mormon as well. Great. Lyric covered by Trey Pard, Matt Stone, and Robert Lopez. The two naive Mormon missionaries dispatched to a war-torn village in Uganda. Their efforts to convert locals clash with harsh realities and doctrinal absurdities. Right. Equal opportunity offence philosophy. Trey Parker, Matt Stone adhere to an equal opportunity offence philosophy. Mandates satire. There's always they have a philosophy. There is a clear belief structure here, which is ridicule anyone, anything. Without favoritism, no exemption. Everyone gets the same treatment. This principle holds that selective mockery introduces bias. Most comprehensive ridicule exposes universal hypocrisies and human folly across divides. But it rejects partisan alignment, ensuring that liberals, conservative celebrities, religions, and institutions alike face unsparing critique to preserve comedic authenticity. If you make fun of something, you have to make fun of everything. A rule for avoiding sacred cows and satire. This stems from the view that imposing limits on offence, so dictated by political correctness, compromises truth-telling, leading instead to a policy where if one thing is off limits, then everything is. So this is the thing. This is quite a structural, axiomatic approach to how they go about making fun of things, and by also making equal opportunity to anyone and everything, it doesn't want to limit. It doesn't want to limit any particular. It won't tolerate any limits because then that compromises on their freedom of being able to make fun of anyone and everything. And it's really adhering to that rule rather than going by or how they feel towards someone, which already is leaning towards introverted logic, I think, with potentially extroverted intuition. I get the sense that don't take nothing too seriously. You're not advancing agenda. You're just trying to make fun of all different sorts of people. Libertarian leanings and critiques of authoritarianism. As I've registered libertarian, stating to be affiliated with a party reflecting a preference for limited government intervention and individual freedom of partisan alignments. There's a libertarian streak, emphasizing skepticism towards both political parties, advocacy for free speech, personal responsibility. There's a resistance to conventional labels. It's quite the philosophical approach to libertarianism rather than the I'm independent, this is my property, go off my property approach to libertarianism, which is, again, seems more alpha than gamma. Cartoon Wars Part 1 and Part 2, which satirized censorship debates surrounding depictions of Islamic prophet Muhammad. Part 1 aired that issue. Comedy Central refused to broadcast Part 2 as intended, instead airing a fully bleeped and black-barred version that obscured all intended visuals and dialogue related to Muhammad, marking Network's first overt censorship of the series, despite Parker said explicit intent to demonstrate such depictions pose no real threat. It's because of the sensitivity following Danish cartoons of Muhammad, with the creators arguing it contradict their equal opportunity satire philosophy. Yeah, that basically violated their philosophy. They're quite upset about that. Also featured Muhammad as a superhero allied to other religious figures in a plot against cult leader David Blaine, for uncensored at the time. They consensually retroactively removed it from rerun syndication on official streaming platforms, effectively banning it due to the character's depiction. And they're quite frustrated over this, understandably. They've been called offensive by the left and the right. Well, that is entirely in line with their philosophy. Trey Parker married Emma Sugiyama, essentially officiated by television producer Norman Lear. They divorced after 2 years of marriage, no public details. Following divorce, he entered a relationship with Boogie Tillman, a former exotic dancer with whom he shares a daughter. They married, divorce, irreconcilable differences. They've been reconciled, despite the fact they had irreconcilable differences, evidenced by public appearances together with their daughters, recent 2025. Prior to his marriage, been linked to relationships including actress Nicole Galicia and producer Lisa Faulkner, but details remain limited. He has one daughter, the second wife, Boogie Tillman. So not very. So looks like a bit more of a messy relationship front there. These two main women and maybe potentially more. Which is different, say, to look at Eminem, where he basically had one, and there wasn't really anyone seemingly after that. And key thing is also inspired by Monty Python, which is also very sort of alpha in its style. Just it's deliberately unpolished. It is quite sloppy in the animation, but it's just funny, and that's kind of the idea. Right, let's see an interview of Trey Parker. Let's see if my suspicion, and Isaac, I'm sure, knows what I'm suspecting right now. Let's see if that suspicion holds up. Which one's which? Was that anime girls in tanks? Goodness. No, come on. Right.
We wanted to do puppets was just because we hate actors. All of them, everybody.
Okay, let me just check. Okay, no. Which one's Trey Parker? Okay, that's Trey Parker. Gotcha.
Every single goddamn one of them. That's why we do all the voices in South Park and we do animation, is because no matter how big or small the actor, they always just have, such an attitude and think that they're all rad. And, there's no lamer thing you can be in the world than an actor. It's the most self-serving. I'm just going off on it right now.
You're saying the extra material on the Team America DVD that you hate actors. Any comment on that?
We do. We do hate actors for the most part. And the misconception is that, at least for me, the misconception, people think that I hate actors like.
I should just check again. Hang on. Yeah, so that's the guy on the right. Okay.
Clooney and that I hate big rich people, famous actors. And the truth is that's not true. I hate actors. I hate even friends of mine and people I meet in LA who are trying to be actors. Like if that's the profession you're trying to be, I just immediately hate you.
What did Matt Damon ever do to become this ultimate?
But that's the thing is we don't think about this stuff that much. It's like Matt Damon, he literally the sculpt came out of the oven just kind of looking mentally retarded, and so we just looking at the puppet and we're sitting there riffing on like just making retarded noises, and it's like that's why he's retarded. I think Matt Damon's a really talented actor, and I've met him before. He's a great guy, and I'm sure he has a sense of humor about it because it's obviously so stupid he can't really be a thing.
Have you heard from any other celebrities appearing in the film?
We haven't heard personally, but we did hear that Matt Damon liked the movie, which is cool. And we've met Matt before. Like he's a nice, normal guy, and I think he has a sense of humor, unlike Mr. Penn.
Do you guys think that the general public in America cares about think politically? I think that foolish ones do, and I think that but I think that the vast majority thinks like we do, which is like, will you please get off the news? I'm trying to get will you please not cut to Sean Penn now? I want someone to tell me what's going on.
Wait a minute, you've got Danny Glover, you've got Sean Penn, you've got Alec Baldwin.
But they're just fun.
Why are they villains? What?
But they're funny. It's funny to take those activist actors and elevate them to the level to what they think they are in their minds. Like dogs, they say that dogs think every dog in its brain thinks it's a huge wolf. Like noodles. I just think like actors in their minds.
So the idea is
really important.
That's coming from Matt Stone. It's not coming from Trey Parker. There's this idea that
when Sean Penn is on TV on CNN,
you're trying to bring people down who think too much of themselves, who are too self-important, which is also very alpha. No one is beyond. No one is better than anyone else to the point where you can't make fun of them. That's a very alpha philosophy. And some beaters can get caught up in that You know, I am up here, so you can't make fun of me.
Only one has, and that's Sean Penn. You know, we have like featured like 8 or 9 like actors in the movie, and that part of the movie was supposed
I
to
gotta
be
see
like,
Trey Parker. I
real,
can't
it was
because
supposed to be
I'm gonna get confused with Matt Stone. I'm gonna get confused otherwise. But they're like inseparable, those two. She's 60 minutes. Quite good last time.
Harry both fruit delicious? I'm a lemon guy, because I like yellow. Apple one's amazing. We can all have apple! You can all have apple! Pineapple first.
Right.
Wait.
If I play other people's ads on my live streams, do I get the money for it? Probably not.
Get more
That's what they do.
Holiday with TUI. More hotels designed around what you...
Talk about a fashion statement.
Hello, I'm Alison Langdon. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia.
Zero helps me take my business anywhere I want.
I mean, but first to do it through a character rather than be just a personality himself. But he does have a distinct personality. I mean,
Started having difficulty with my vision. This soon started to affect my life.
okay, let's see if any difference here. This is only 2 months ago.
Rewind.
Oh, it's a rewind.
If you came to New York this summer to see a Broadway play or a
Oh,
musical,
this is
the
no.
one show you couldn't get tickets for was the Book of Mormon, operating for 20 years. They met in a film class at the University of Colorado and were partnered up to work on a project, quickly discovering that they shared a love of Monty Python and a subversive sense of humor.
What were you like back then? Really cool. Just amazingly cool. Most popular guys at CU. Do you remember what the attraction was? I just remember that our senses of humor were just so similar that we would just really crack each other up, and it got really annoying for everyone else in film school.
Watch out for that bear trap.
What? At ages 19 and 20, they raised $100,000 to make
This must be Cannibal the
a
musical.
Colorado prospector named Alfred Packer, who was forced to dine on his colleagues while snowbound in the mountains. Cannibal, the musical, was rejected by the Sundance Film Festival, but Parker and Stone went anyway and held guerrilla screenings in a hotel conference room.
Did the film get released?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, on video. I guess that's what you could call it, a release. I can like buy it on Amazon.com. Yeah, I bet you can. You might not want to pay more than $1 for it. Not like the price.
They moved to Hollywood and spent 3 whole years as starving young artists until a studio executive gave them $1,200 and asked them to make a video Christmas card that he could send to his friends.
We went back to Colorado and we spent 3 or 4 weeks cutting out construction paper, and we did this little thing called the Spirit of Christmas.
Behold my glory.
Holy
The primitive 5-minute cartoon featured an epic battle between Jesus and Santa Claus over control of the holiday, as witnessed by a group of young boys that would eventually become the South Park Kids.
Help me put an end to him once and for all. No, boys, help me. Stan, remember the choo-choo when you were 3? I died for your sins, boys. Don't forget that.
The video became an underground sensation. Bootleg copies circulated all over the country and ended up Christmas. For Parker says,
right now you couldn't do it because things are so peak.
Is seen through the eyes of 4 elementary school boys who tried to make sense of it all.
We used to talk about All in the Family, and we were big fans of All in the Family. And we were in the time of the
still
early
he's
90s,
talking more than the other one.
You know, a show like that couldn't be on the air right now. You couldn't do it because things are so PC. You couldn't have an Archie Bunker. And we used to talk about how, you know, if Archie Bunker was 8 years old, I bet you could do it.
By the way, children, there's a walkout scheduled today to protest the war in Iraq. So if you're against the war, run along outside. And if you're for the war, stay here and we'll do math problems.
Common device is to drop the kids in the middle of some explosive situation and surround them with extremes on all sides of an issue.
Here you go, boys. These will help you protest. Tom Stoutzel, HBC News. Can you tell me why you kids marched out of school today?
war?
Hey, all you un-American bastards!
like America, why don't you get out? The show regularly takes on race and bigotry.
Category is people who annoy you. Audience, keep quiet, please.
I know it, but I don't think I should say it. In this episode, one of the boys' father makes an embarrassing appearance on Wheel of Fortune. Huh? Oh. Ooh. Oh, daggers, of course. And then there was this on the financial crisis. How can I help you, young man?
I got $100 check from my grandma, and my dad said I need to put it in the bank so it can grow over the years.
Well, that's fantastic. A really smart decision, young man. We can put that check in a money market mutual fund. Then we'll reinvest the earnings into foreign currency accounts with compounding interest, and it's gone.
Oh.
It's gone. It's all gone.
What's all gone?
The money in your account. It didn't do too well. It's gone.
What do you mean? I have $100.
Not anymore, you don't. Poof. It's worth reminding the uninitiated viewer that we're showing you sanitized for network television, not the cable, movie, or DVD versions in which the dialogue can be scatological as well as philosophical and every bit as profane as it is profound. But it is usually pitch perfect to anyone who has spent time around 10-year-olds aspiring to be adolescents.
I'll bet if you eavesdropped on a bunch of fourth graders today, the language would be pretty close to what you hear on South Park.
I think we talked like this when I was in fourth and fifth grade. You know, you learned those.
We
bad
did. That
words.
was a con. I
You
remember
just
it
know
was
how to
saying-
shut it off when the adults were around.
Yeah, and it was like let's do a show where kids talk the way kids talk. Because at the time we were, just out of college, like we remember, and
Maybe that's
really
we were young enough to remember.
Yeah, now we're remembering.
Shop non-billionaire Jeffs.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Jeff, too.
Etsy.
Toothpaste for every day. Or this one when there's a chance of company at bedtime. Everything toothpaste from.
Perhaps the most remarkable thing about Parker and Stone is that over the past 15 years, they have written, directed, and voiced the major characters in every scene of more than 200 episodes of South Park.
What did you say about not seeing Clyde Frog the Nazi gag? I know that I'm awesome and cool, participants.
Their typical week begins on Thursday in this LA conference room with a blank storyboard and a brainstorming session that includes executive producer Ann Garofino and 2 staff writers.
And you have like a typical Cartman comes in.
They have 6 days to deliver a completed episode to Comedy Central that will air the following Wednesday.
Okay. All right.
That usually involves 5, 10 to 12-hour days and one all-nighter. As soon as they have an idea for part, sit down and bang it out, then hand it off to the animators, and if necessary, to the lawyers.
We have probably more freedom than anyone in television we have for a long time. But we do still, at the end of the day, we have lawyers.
So who does the all-nighter?
One of the touchiest episodes was about Scientology, a notoriously litigious group.
Yep.
Parker and Stone wanted to include a scene dealing with tabloid rumors that Tom Cruise, its most famous member, was secretly gay.
And actually, the joke was just, okay, we're going to have Tom Cruise show up, and he's flamboyantly gay and whatever. Like, yeah, but you can't say he's gay. And it's like, okay, but we can say he's like closeted gay. Like, no, you really can't say that either. Right? And then it just became this thing of like, what if he's literally in a closet? And they're like, yeah, you can do that.
Tom Cruise won't come out of the closet.
Mr. Cruise? Mr. Cruise, come out of the closet.
Tom, it's Nicole. You don't need to be in that closet anymore, Tom.
Tom, it's John Travolta. Tom, you gotta come out of the closet. Oh my God. Their politics are indecipherable, but tending towards libertarian. They don't carry water for anyone, don't do market research, and their only target audience is each other. If something makes
No market research.
it ends up in the show.
So how do you describe this?
You do what they find funny.
At this point, it's kind of like a marriage, in the way that we're just been together so long. We spend so much time together that you can almost finish each other's sentences. And it's funny because we're just at that level now where it just doesn't happen anymore that one of us can say to the other, one time I was doing this. It's like, yeah, I know, I was there.
The foundation of their relationship is one of the strongest partnerships I've ever seen in any business.
Ann Garofino and Scott Rudin know them as well as anyone and have been with them since the very beginning. Garofino is the executive producer of South Park, and Rudin is the entertainment mogul who launched their film careers. Both produced the Broadway musical.
sometimes I've seen people try and triangulate one against the other. You know, you see people try to get between them. They shut it down so fast. They have each other's backs in the absolute best possible way. And it doesn't mean they don't disagree, because they frequently disagree, but they are genuinely a partnership.
Garofino believes that Matt Stone is the more ruthless of the two when it comes to satire.
Oh,
And
really?
that Trey is softer with a sweet sense of humor that provides the charm. We wanted to know what they thought of that analysis.
That Anne's pretty smart. Anne's a bitch. See, the opposite. We're just proving the opposite. Boy, that Trey's ruthless. I think she's fired.
I believe.
So there's more extroverted ethics coming from Trey there, essentially.
There's no doubt that sharp teeth and a big heart are the foundation of their success, and both qualities are evident in the Book of Mormon, which manages to ridicule the silliness of religious dogma while still being uplifting and pro-faith.
And the Mormon just believes.
All right. Is there anything else? Maybe it's just Trey Parker on his own, maybe. Trey Parker, Rosie, Phil Collins, straight right. Kicker and Stone and South button, the promise of AI. Trey Parker clearing over Brooke Shields, 1998. Let's take a look at that.
We'll be right back with Trey Parker and Matt Stone right after this. Alrighty. My next guest are the creators of South Park, which has quickly become one of the hottest around. The new season starts on May 20th on Comedy Central. Please welcome Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
That you can't actually separate them.
I'm not here. We're saying we can throw up your cameras. Yeah, they're amazing. Well, if anyone's going to throw up the camera, now this is a beautiful. It's a Versace. A Versace.
I've given up separating them.
Bob Crappy is what it is. Very nice. And yours is lovely as well.
Thank you. It's straight.
Just showing just
You got it.
just the hint of chest hair, which I like very much. Now, let me ask you something here. This is a little touchy. Do you guys know Brooke?
Yeah. See, okay, this is what happened. Trey drinks. Okay, first of all, this is what happened. So we're at this party, and I drank a lot. Trey drank.
Really?
I don't a
You
lot.
drank
but I
a
did,
lot.
at this party. I drank, and
Look how he's sat.
And I had never met her before. And I mean, you're totally cool, right? And she comes up and she goes, I really like your show, and I wanted to meet you. And what I'm thinking in my mind with was, oh, and now that I have, I think you totally suck. I was going to finish her sentence,
Right.
but all that came out was, you totally suck. So
You totally suck.
and you totally suck.
I was even now, it was no place for misunderstanding. And you totally
I go, and you totally suck. Like, but I was finishing your. And
Thank
you know, you said I'm a big fan nonetheless, and walked away, and I was like, what?
Sound that you tried something that backfired.
Felt really bad, so I'm apologizing.
I thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, but no hard
Because you don't set your awesome.
Thank you. You don't.
So don't drink, kids. Yeah, don't drink.
You know, this has probably done more to stop teenage drinking than I'm just seeing you two. Now the show has exploded. It's just gone bananas. Are you guys surprised at all this? You're making gazillions of dollars.
No, we're not making gazillions of dollars.
100
Not yet.
million.
No.
1.5
See,
billion.
it came out someplace where we made $15 million, which like so everyone we got a check like a check, yeah, right? We did
No.
But I mean, we're getting like way better money than we did when we started.
Right.
And it's totally cool, and Comedy Central's been great to us.
Yeah.
But like now, all our friends are calling like, Dude, you made $50 million. Remember you said if you ever get rich, you know, you buy me a boat. I was drunk. Yeah, I was drunk then.
Don't call me.
Yeah, Brooks got all the money.
What kind of dough are we talking? What kind of money?
It literally would break down to probably like still 50 grand a year.
15. 15. And you have to split that between.
You can see that the Trey's got more charisma, he's got more presence, comes across as more likable than
Have you got anything nice for that?
Matt. Matt hangs back a bit more.
Yesterday they left for
He's a little bit more gawky out of the two of them.
Oh, that's pretty good. Says amount of crew. Oh.
Bought my mom's car.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, very cool. That's very nice.
Thank you. But we don't have any money. And we're not sellouts.
That's right.
That's what happens. You make money and everyone's like, sell out. And we haven't changed the show any. I mean, we haven't changed what we do, but you just make money, people call you a sellout.
I like being a sellout if it's that.
He doesn't
Yeah, but you know, it doesn't
like being called a sellout.
not having any of the money.
No, that's true.
It's a bit like Elon Musk selling. Well,
Yeah.
like Elon Musk not keeping any of his own property.
Next week.
Starts when?
Like the fact it's both his planet.
That would be next week.
That would be next week.
The same day as Godzilla.
Yeah, Godzilla opens that night, so we're gonna get like a 0.2 rating.
Now look at that. You see your artist. Now look at this. You see the mummy is already talking.
No,
You're saying,
but
we're
the
gonna get a
ratings don't
point two
affect.
rating.
No, we just want to go see
Godzilla.
Because we have
we gotta go see Godzilla.
All right, watch the show.
Tell people about the new episode.
Well, Godzilla comes. No, this episode is about. There's one character named Kyle who's Jewish.
Right.
Matt's Jewish.
Right.
And his little brother Ike, his little baby brother, has to have his bris
Right.
and be circumcised.
Right.
And Kyle finds out what this means and panics.
Now we have a clip here of this lovely heartwarming episode.
We do.
It's kind of a let's say sort of this is like a little house on the prairie kind of scene, a coming of age. All right, let's take a look. Here we go. Did you guys went in to pitch this show? I mean, how?
Right. Yeah. So,
I mean, it seems like it'd be a hard.
so Isaac, I've given up. I can't type Trey
But we called it the
without
Mistake,
also typing Matt.
and it was all about
So I'm gonna have to do both of them.
talking piece of poo.
So I'm gonna do both of them.
Pitching it to an executive at Fox, actually.
I can't not. They are
Poo. But he's got
everything in one is also with the other.
No. Revamped it, and we came up with a name that, you know.
You can see there's a clear difference in their dynamic.
Just to get to be able to
They
put their name.
there's a lot of
You know, South Park.
compliment
The artistic
in terms of which roles they play. He's the more direct one. He's the more hanging back one, who's also actually more ruthless in the comedy because he focuses more on the ideas and less about how it's going to affect people. Whereas
So we just act in it. And the big misnomer
Trey's
is that,
more
like,
mindful towards how things are going to come across, how to make things more charismatic. He does the songs, I think, as well.
before South Park was on the air. Yeah.
So
we did it thinking, all right, no.
there's a more analytical one, and then there's a more engaging one of the two.
But no, but it's a cool movie.
Well, when you come back,
This is the one that's also more engaging, more about the charm, but maybe perhaps a bit nicer humor of the two. Is also more assertive between the two of them in person. So at the moment, I'm thinking that Trey is an ILE, and I'm thinking that Matt Stone is an LII, but I'd like to look a bit at Matt Stone's Wikipedia as well, just to be sure of that. I can't not type Matt Stone at the same time. I just can't. It's not going to work. I have to. So yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Isaac. I'm going to have to give you two for the price of one. What else can I do? What else can I do? No, his mother's Jewish. Yep. Of Irish Catholic ancestry, non-religious household. There's not much. Matt's satirical philosophy is centered on treating ideological extremes with equivalence, refusing to exempt liberals. I wonder if he's been the key person to articulate the philosophy, the two of them. They say ruthlessness. He's probably the one who said, no, we have to criticize. We have to do this. We have to do this because that's in line with the principle. I can see him playing that role more between the two of them. Really hate liberals. Ideological blind spots are inherent to human cognition, on equal scrutiny to reveal underlying cause of drivers of substance dysfunction. I have to turn a bit to AI here. Let's see. Trempard is a creative visionary, directing, writing, and music. Matson is the pragmatic producer, has the business, fights studio battles, abrasive central sounding board. The ground Park is boundless sons of chaotic creative impulses. Right. So they say pragmatic, really. Let's say Matt is more about the systems. He's more about, okay, the logistics and the actual the everyone who leads on the ideas now to pitch it is far more Trey. Narrative structure, directing most episodes, with the music, voicing the majority of the characters. Showing competence by producing, handling the network, being more willing to argue over business details. Okay, the detail aspect is key here. Parker prefers not to argue, making a balanced partnership. It's interesting that Matt does actually prefer pushing back, being a tough negotiator. What does it mean being tough? Child listing non-consequent axles, and then this thing happens, and then what we change being but and therefores. But if this happens, therefore, it's like a formula. See, I do think I leave a tray. For Matt, Is anything Matt Stone in his own? I wonder. Color the Governor of Jared Polis. Interesting. What's this? Oh, there's one of him in his own. I'll go to that one in just a bit.
Sorry. First question. Can you start by telling us a little bit more about why you're here in Stockholm?
We actually we just got done with a run of South Park, and the DVD
always gives the tray first.
Was coming out pretty much worldwide. So we're basically like, well, we can get the studio to pay for our tickets to. We'd never been to Stockholm before, and we'd heard it was great. So man, it was great. We rolled in on a Saturday, and the sun was out, and it was totally sunny yesterday too. So we think it's a really sunny place. It's great.
There's just a few times when somebody will pay your way to go to another country and talk to interesting people about your work, and that's a pretty fun thing to do for us. So.
Yeah. So how long are you here for?
We've been here since Saturday.
Yeah, we're leaving tomorrow. So like 4 days.
4 days, yeah, and it's been great.
Have you seen anything of the city?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of it, but I cannot pronounce anything, so I can't actually tell you what we've done. Yeah. We went to Skansen, Skansen. We went around Old Town.
Gammelstein.
Gammelstein. And then we walked and we saw the big dome on Garterdorn.
Yeah.
Garterdorn. What was it? The big dome, the big where the sports stuff is played.
All right.
Yeah, we saw that. And we went on a boat. Oh, we went on a boat to Wisconsin.
But it was great to walk. Just walking around the Old Town was great because in Los Angeles, the oldest building we have is like 1962. So
we're total We're total suckers for anything that's like more than 100 years old.
Yeah. Matt, what is the nicest thing you can say about Trey?
What is the nice thing I say about Trey?
Therapy.
We're gonna work some shit out right now. I think Trey's a really hard worker, and I think he puts his all into his work, and I really respect that about him.
And Trey, what is the nicest thing you can say about Matt? Matt's my friend. That's nice. Matt, what's the worst thing you can say about Trey?
Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes, stinky butt.
Okay. And Trey, what's the worst thing you can say about Matt?
The Jew. That's coming.
It was basically fat Jew.
Jew and Hungary. He's an anti-Semite.
Sometimes he can be anti-Semitic.
Sometimes he's a Jew.
Trey, who would you choose to portray Matt in a movie about you two, and why? Definitely Tom Hanks, because they look exactly alike. And Matt, who would you choose to portray Trey in a movie about you two?
Probably Eddie Murphy. If not Eddie, no, not Eddie Murphy. It'd be Sean Penn, definitely, because Sean Penn hates us, and it would really bum Sean Penn out to have to play Trey.
Yeah. Okay. If you guys were asked by Jerry Bruckheimer to do an action movie, would you do it, and for how much?
Okay, this is not going to give me much. I'm going to go to this one.
Here for Lucas. Come on, everybody. All right. No, they're here for you. Everyone's tired of me.
I managed to get one of them in
to make this work.
It was Matt.
They're in here filming something. We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay, all right.
But I'm curious because over the last year or two when we've spoken, you have really encouraged me to go to a Mexican restaurant. And I think
I'm here shilling.
We should start with a question that is maybe on everyone's mind. You're a pretty savvy business person. Why did you buy a bankrupt Mexican restaurant in Lakewood, Colorado?
Because we're not that savvy. I'm not a savvy business person, quite frankly. If you don't know what Casa Bonita's, this giant restaurant in Colorado where Trey and I grew up. It's like 52,000 square feet. If you've been, it's the best place in the world. If you haven't, you're like, what is everyone talking about? But it went bankrupt, and Trey and I bought it, and we've kind of figured that when you hear that sentence in your head, like, how hard can it be? You should be really aware of that voice in your head. We said, how hard could it be? The food sucked. How hard could it be to revive this place? And it was pretty hard. It took the last couple of years. We sank a lot of our money into it, but
the documentary would say, so you thought you were going to spend $6 million.
I thought I spent $3 million, and then it turned into about 40, and it's actually probably more than 40.
Oh dear.
But so when here we go. But some part of what, like, when we've got a really good friend of ours, and we have a documentary division of Park County, our company.
Definitely not Gammas.
Arthur Bradford, who's
definitely not Gammas.
Shooting video of us. And there was this moment when everything was going really bad, and I just thought, and it was really stressful, and everyone's yelling at each other, and everyone's stressed out. And I just thought about, like, if there's funny music playing behind this meeting, it would be funny. And so we, encouraged Arthur to keep shooting, and we ended up with this movie called Casa Bonita Mi Amor, which originally was, and we haven't got enough material for, a 3 or 4 part kind of one of those 3 or 4 hour long things. And when we watched it, we just decided to cut it down to its core, and its core really was about my partner Trey. As an artist and as a kind of slightly insane, great guy who dedicates himself to something and sort of won't stop.
Right.
And $40 million later,
no controversy.
But I will say we have When I say Mexican restaurant,
determined
14,000
extroverted
people
intuition.
last week.
Yeah.
That's we're doing.
Is it making money now? And setting aside the $40 million you incinerate.
You're asking the wrong. Yeah, I'm not a savvy businessman. I don't know. Okay. I think it's getting close to making money. We have 265,000 people who are our founders, who are people who are our biggest fans. We have a direct relationship with, who are on the million-plus person email list before. They said we're doing 14,000 people a week right now. We hope to get to 20,000 people a week, and it's funny to us, but people are calling us about opening Casa Bonitas and other places. And it's like, okay, and that's just funny knowing if you just came from Denver that we would be in that position doing it.
Yeah.
But it's open. We're really proud of it. I'm being self-deprecating. We're really proud of it, and the movie shows how hard the renovation was. And again, Trey, my partner's dedication to the cause.
So you always have someone filming you?
Kind of. It's not annoying.
Why?
Not always, but it's a really good friend of ours, Arthur Bradford, and he did a documentary, if anybody saw it, called 6 Days to Air about us a long time ago, and we just kind of have kept filming.
You and Beyonce, you just.
It's like, it's like such a rapper thing to do. Like here's our doc crew, but in this particular case, it ended up making something really compelling.
Right. Yeah. You mentioned Trey as sort of this kind of mad genius as it's depicted in the documentary. How does the working relationship between the two of you work, where it feels like if you've watched 6 Days to Air, it's pretty evident that sort of he is the creative lead.
Yep.
And so what is your role alongside him, and how does that relationship work?
I don't know. It changes all the time. I mean, at this point,
he handles the introverted sensation and the introverted logic.
Through it all together.
Yeah.
That's it.
But Trey's he really is a true artist, capital A artist, and he's so talented to come people up,
Yeah.
He can write and direct and act and write songs.
Yeah.
And, and I'm kind of a smart guy that I can help along those things or help refine
that's it.
Along the way, or a lot of times, I bring ideas.
Smart refiner.
You have to
bring some of the introverted intuition in there.
Sometimes it's a producer-director relationship. Sometimes it's co-writing. At the end of the day, I think we like competency. I would say at Bloomberg Screen Time would be. I will say jokes and funny voices. We like making each other laugh. You know what I mean? So, but like you'll see in the movie, if you see the movie Casa Bonita Me More, I mean the title comes from a point. There's a part where the camera they catch him just in this, and it's just a very, if you know Trey, it's like you see this moment in the film, like that is Trey,
right? And
he just starts singing this little Elvis thing, Casa Bonita Me More, and it's like. That's Trey. Like when he gets his mind on doing something artistic, you're not going to get in his way.
Yep.
He'll work harder than anybody. He's more dedicated than anybody, and I'll go anywhere with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even though I grew up in Denver too, and I understand all the nostalgia,
this guy cannot be stubborn in the places where he's stubborn. He has to be flexible in them. I think this is most likely a mirror relationship.
Said in a 2010 interview with the New York Times.
Oh,
yeah. No, this is not a bad one. I thought it was funny because you said in that interview that you would not be making. Both of you laughed. You're like, "There's no way we're going to be making South Park when we're 50," because this was celebrating a certain anniversary. I believe you're now 53.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me.
Sorry. Is there an end in sight for the show, or have you guys just reached a point where you're like, we're just going to keep doing it, and at a certain point maybe we'll get tired of it, but for now I think we're gonna. No, we don't have an end in sight, and actually, and I'll say, honestly, it's because it's still such an awesome sandbox. Yeah.
We're working on a movie right now, a live action movie. When we get back to South Park, it's gonna be like, oh right, here we go. Like I can't wait to hang out with those characters again, to be cheesy about it. Like we love doing South Park, and then I think we will last long enough to reach the singularity and pass it off to our AI. I mean, which sounds crazy, but people are. Yeah. But we have no plans now. We don't
really regret. They took the chart off. Good.
Yeah,
that was the one that was going to show that people watch Family Guy more than South Park. But
oh man, you look a see. Bring up on stage.
I'm curious. Like, do you ever feel? Because I think
what about Kevin? Yeah.
Oh God.
And American Dad. Oh my Lord.
Let's talk about the two at the bottom, which are the two shows I really grew up with in a lot of ways. Do you ever? Because I believe you have a relatively friendly relationship with the Simpsons people, right?
I mean, we don't know anybody really personally. I mean, but
do you ever feel like because they're
before data was just information?
Now,
Oh, so many ads.
on
So
Blue,
many ads.
we take you further with tech so you can outthink, outpace, and outperform. PwC, so you can.
You into football?
Yeah.
You're not really into it.
Until you read into it.
See,
I think they had you beat by about 8-9 years, something like that. Like, do you ever? Yeah. You're these two shows that have been on forever. Do you ever think like, okay, we got to go on longer than they do?
Oh, that's not. That won't happen. I mean, we're not. That will be in the AI singularity future, whatever the hell that. No, The Simpsons was an incredibly formative show for us. You know, we were in college going to bars, watching it along with people, along with Beavis and Butthead and what Mike doing. Those were like, oh, you can do this. You know, before that, there was no idea that you could do an adult animation.
Is there a new adult animated show that you really love? Like, have you seen anything new in the last 5 years?
I don't watch it. I don't watch any television.
Really?
None.
Why not?
I got kids and I got work and I don't know. I don't do anything more I don't do anything.
Well, okay.
I
so
like hang out with my friends.
You're gonna
play video games.
Let's say you go home this weekend, right? You have. What do you do to relax?
I don't know. I just don't watch TV.
No, that's fine. But so what do you do?
Okay, what is this? I go on a hike, hang out with my kids. They're coming in town this weekend. I haven't seen them in a few weeks. I see my friends.
Right.
I have a drink.
That's allowed. Yes.
I have a smoke.
Also allowed.
Might hang out. I don't know. I just am not.
Introverted sensation.
Never have been
Relaxation.
personally. And now to get to like, if there's any, now I just find the whole thing bewildering when I turn on. There's no way when I find. Well, Frank, we talked about this last time. I feel burned. The last couple of TV shows I've gotten into, and I do feel like this has been a real casualty or the problem with the streaming revolution is like someone says, you gotta watch this show. You gotta watch Mandalorian. It's so awesome. You gotta watch Battlestar Galactica. You gotta watch this one show. And I'll never watch TV, and I will, and I'll go on. I'll start watching it, and goddamn, it's great. And I'm like, I am missing something. And then you get into that second season. And there's that episode and I feel so betrayed. No, it's not. I don't have a rational.
It is a problem with TV.
The economics, they really tried. I don't do that. You're wasting my time.
Right.
And that's when I feel like.
So you're the
economics. No, the business of the business that the streaming revolution has created is screwing with people's heads and distorting the art of what should be being made.
Back to integrity of what it is.
Curious though, because you're talking about season 2, right? And
season 2, as soon as I feel like you're wasting my time, I feel completely betrayed. Because I fell in love with something, and now I know you're screwing with me, and you're screwing with my heart, and I have like a short fuse, and that's that. Well, not the computer, and then I don't watch TV for 3 more years. If anybody knows, that is seriously true,
It's funny because I feel like one of the criticisms of streaming services is they cancel shows too quickly. Shows never, there's no streaming show.
It's the extra nutrition leading. It's unlikely to do that. You keep watching it in the case that does still get good again.
Part of the problem.
He's actually okay shutting it down. He feels betrayed.
Well, maybe I don't know if it's streaming or and listen, I got a show that's been on 27 years, so what am I talking about? I don't know, but it's just when I feel like someone's wasting my time, and I feel like that is part of the butter and bread equation that's gotten screwed up in the 2010s from streaming. Of let's make the bread this. We got this. There's this much butter in the world. Right. We're going to do this much bread, and it doesn't work. Right. There's just not that much good stuff out there.
Right.
And because the technology's made it so with editing and photography and everything looks glossy and it looks good, and then you go, okay, this feels good, and then they fool you, and then episode 7 you realize you're wasting my time, and then again, bang, and then I get really mad.
Do you think that? I'm curious. Do you worry that AI makes that worse because it'll make it even easier to make stuff?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Because on the other hand, there's a lot of people who the technology's made it so that there's a lot of cool stuff happening. I don't want to be a complete grouch. I'm a pretty big grouch when someone wastes my time. But if there has been a lot of great stuff with YouTube and people online. What am I saying? I'm saying the tools, the tools to make films are so much different than when Trey and I started. That's cool. It's cool that people can make stuff.
How much does this is maybe going in the other direction of what you're just saying. How much does the average episode of South Park cost now versus when you started?
Oh, a gazillion times more. Yeah, because Trey and I make so much.
Yeah.
And I mean, You know what I mean? Like we were living on couches when we were literally crashing on our friend's couch when we first started making the show.
Right.
Now it's quite a bit more.
Yes.
Get Trey out of bed it's not going to get out of bed for
Well, the savviest deal you ever did was you got 50% of your digital rights.
Yeah. No, that was a good idea. And no, so that turned out to be a good idea.
The company where you've been home for since the South Park's Paramount obviously had a rather bumpy year.
Yeah.
What were you guys thinking during the sale process? Are you like reading the stories that my colleagues and peers and I are writing? Are you talking to people? Like, what is? Oh, no.
Of course. We. What happened between those digital rights and between when we went and did Book of Mormon with our friend Bobby Lopez, and just the way Broadway works is between that and then having enough money and having a little bit of savvy, we moved into, we're owners now. We're not for hire. You know what I mean? We went over that. We got above that, looked above those clouds. You know what I mean? So we really, in a way, were fortified to be okay with whoever is going to buy Paramount. If someone's going to buy Paramount and slice it up, okay. If someone's going to buy Paramount, we'll buy South Park back from them. Like, we're ready to do whatever. That said, I'm pretty excited about the David Ellison. And
why is that?
We've met a couple of times. This just comes from I think.
Did you meet before this or as a result of this?
We met once or twice before, and then we've met once or twice since the whole thing. And
Before, data was just information. Now,
so many of these ads.
From blueprint to breakthrough, we take you.
It has become more frequent.
Think, outpace, and outperform PwC so you can. Before, data was just
why is it the same ad
now,
twice in a row?
From blueprint to breakthrough, we take you further with tech so you can outthink, outpace, and outperform PwC so you can.
The Grouch, and he
Another
seems
thing,
like someone
stacking ads. Never used to stack ads like that.
Billionaire does feel like someone you would make fun of on the show, I have to say.
not this one.
Yeah.
But he seems. No, listen. He seems like a guy who genuinely is. He's not in. We've lived at Paramount, and I actually like the current people who work at Paramount that we work with. I really like.
Right.
But it's been a bumpy ride through the.
Yeah. Well, you had the Philippe Damon era.
Yeah. Phil Dowman.
Phil Dowman.
The Phil Dowman era, where it's quarter to quarter and just milk this thing for what it is every quarter. I don't think that's what David wants to do.
No.
He seems like a guy the person who's dedicated, and the team is dedicated to a long-term vision, and that's what you have to do. These projects just take a long time, and the quality over quantity that I think he really believes in lines up with what Trey and I are into.
Right.
Don't do a lot. We hope that what we do is not a waste of anybody's time. And if it is, okay, we tried. You know what I mean? But we didn't deliberately go out to go, hey, we could make a little more bread here and spread that butter out. Yeah. It's really butter bread. That's all I wanted. That's my really clever analogy today. Sorry.
Okay, so you're not gonna make fun of David. Have you ever done Larry Ellison on the show?
No, won't be making fun of him either. No, he's safe for now.
Yeah. Other than owners of Paramount, you guys are pretty much willing to make fun of anyone or anything. Is there anyone or anything you're not interested in touching?
I don't know. We've been asked this so many times. We'll come if we come up with something. Yeah. That's really not where we start from.
Yeah, you start from what would be.
Just whatever, I don't know. It's just it's the same. What do you write about? It's stuff that's interesting. It's like the way that we luckily that's what I'm saying. We have a sandbox, and it's so fun to, whether it's the news or something happens in our life, we get to go play in our sandbox. That's how it starts,
Right.
Doing a show about Ozempic. We didn't really make fun of Ozempic. We didn't make fun. We just all these different angles to come out.
Not about having an agenda. It's just about playing. It's a playful space.
Bread and butter Ozempic, we have all the Hollywood bases.
That's pretty good, right? Yeah. Maybe let's Hollywood needs Ozempic to go.
I'm curious, at any point during the sale process, did you guys think about trying to buy South Park back? I feel like there were, because, Viacom or Paramount, they looked into selling BET, looked into selling Showtime. I assume that
we thought about it.
You could have just said, we'll buy Comedy Central from you.
We thought about it.
I'm not saying, we thought about buying, like, I'm going to write a check. We thought about just doing a press release, like, some sort of like, hey, we're going to make an offer just to be dicks about the whole thing. Right. But
like you and a few of the other people who bid on the company, but didn't really bid on the company.
Yeah, I know. We would just bid on South Park, and we went through that scenario, but ultimately, like, that's not, I don't know. As I said, I'm excited about Paramount remaining intact. I have a little, I have a little romanticism about Hollywood still, because I'm from the before time. From when we came to Hollywood, it was still Hollywood, Now it's like tech's all come down here and everything's disorienting, and I don't know what a studio is anymore and what distribution is anymore. But the idea that there's a lot and people go to work on the lot, and it looks like a back lot, and there's a guy in the corner, smoking a cigar, and he's rich, and that's what you want. I like that. Yeah, that's good. Compared to the tech, compared to Northern California and tech guys, yeah, I like that. You know what I mean? Like, I've been lucky enough in my life to get to know kind of like tech people, and I live in New York now. I know Wall Street people, and Hollywood. I'm just totally proud to be part of the Hollywood community.
God, I want to replay that to 25-year-old Matt.
I know, that's what I'm saying. After living through all this stuff, like, like, I'm not like the
and is that
Hollywood is like the most stand-up place of all these industries, man. You know what I mean? It is those guys, man. You know what I mean?
Is that because you are an artist and so you feel sort of a kinship with other people in that community, or do you actually?
Yeah, it's just at this point now, it's like, what am I going to do? It's like not being a Lakers fan after living here for so long. Like, a bit of it's that. A bit of it's just like the way that, watching, I do feel like and I do feel like, not to be quite as strident, it's a two-way street. Like, with Northern California and Southern California, you have this mutual disrespect of what each other does. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, so because I do the one, I've felt these tech people come down over the last 2 decades and just be right. That's what it is to me. Just be and kind of like, oh, we can do what you do. And then, to segue to Deep Voodoo, we found ourselves stumbling into sort of a tech company, and I have a little more respect for what I do. You know what I mean? The same thing. Now I understand why restaurateurs are, like, after doing a Mexican restaurant, it's like, oh, that's not so easy. Right. So that's to go back to what I just said. Like, how hard can it be? It's hard.
So for those,
you're gonna say, how hard can it be? It's harder than you think. You're wrong. You're basically wrong.
For those unfamiliar, Deep Voodoo's your AI company.
Yeah, Deep Voodoo's this AI, but we sort of, I would just liken it to like our punk rock version of Weta or ILM, where we start.
If there's anything else I can get on him. I'm gonna try Wikipedia. Key thing, he doesn't like his time being wasted. So the conditions in terms of what he's doing in a particular moment, that's where he's stubborn on, it seems. He's not stubborn so much on the different directions in which things can go. He kind of allows Trey to decide that. So he's, I think, an exacting type. The way to do in mathematics and film. There you go. Right, they attack liberals because no one else attacks liberals. That's funny. Much more, to be honest. More steady relationship history than Trey. What's interesting here? Huh. Come on. Maybe 0. Come on. Hmm. They're really the same people. Right. I should check out 6 Days there. Okay, so this is Sigma's friends. TV extend free speech. What's that? See, here you see Stone is the one who's focused on the betrayal of the integrity of what he was doing. Remember when I looked at Russell Crowe, there was a similar sort of outrage when the integrity he was doing is almost misrepresented. Mm. And it's Stone who goes, okay, but if you do this, then that's going to lead to this. So he takes the specific instance. He said, well, if it happens in a specific instance, what's to stop it from happening for every single episode? Which, it might not, maybe in certain episodes with certain pressure groups being deemed important enough by the channel, but he sees it structurally. We're always in favor of people downloading, always. It's the always. Just also past be like, hey, look. See, I think he's an introverted logic lead. Anything else I can find on him? How so? Hmm. Right. Not exactly very helpful. Um, see what happens. He's the creative sounding board. He's a catalyst for energy for Trey Parker. He's a business strategist. And most of the primary writing and directing. That's Parker. Stone, crucial editorial feedback, manages the broader production. Anti-establishment humor hits the right balance. He refines the vision. So I think the introverted intuition is very strong in Stone, it seems. He reshapes, he trims, he dials it. So he is the integrator for the Energizer. That's very clear. And they make each other laugh, so trying to park with different perspectives, encouraging wild, unfiltered brainstorming until they find the core comedic anchor. Parker focuses intense on script writing, directing, and songwriting. He shows a massive share of production, business coordination. How do they differ in their personal lives? Analytical, pragmatist, emotional artist. He's very confrontational in daily life. He can argue about everything all the time. It's openly sensitive, moody, driven by intense creative bursts. There's a more even-keeled, logical, steady personality, serving as an emotional anchor for their partnership. Parker might be more tumultuous. Yep. Stone's been more stable. That's very clear. Stokey's found life much further out of Hollywood spotlight. I think that's also quite clear. Parker leans more to being a homebody and introvert and not working. So he's more socially active, networking, comfortable navigating the business and tech worlds. Interesting. Which doesn't match how they come across in person. Yeah, Stone is the voice of reason. Yeah. Stan is existential, overwhelmed by the world. How is I want to just scrutinize the argumented part. How is Trey? No, not Trey. Sorry, Matt. Confrontational. What do they mean by that? Is it just disagreeing with and insisting that certain things are need to be structurally correct? Let's see. He directly fights TV bosses, network executives, and lawyers. When content apparent demands edits, he'll spend days aggressively arguing the point rather than backing down. You won't get an argument with Trey and argue about everything all the time. Picks apart scripts, character motives, jokes. Forcing runs with Parkinson's strong defend their choices, and his sharpest ideas survive. He's the bodyguard for the duo because Parkinson is sensitive to criticism. Steps into the media spot to publicly push back against angry celebrities, religious groups, or political factions. Parkin is the peace of mind to focus entirely on writing and directing. Interesting. What do you mean by he's being pragmatic? How is he pragmatic? Doesn't mean anything. Yeah, quality control, that makes sense. That's not necessarily pragmatic. Get overly attached to complex musical numbers, highly niche concepts. Understand the joke, but it's consuming too much production time. Okay, maybe that is. Yeah, exactly, Isaac. Who is more involved in setting out libertarian equal opportunities? The primary architect, most vocal defender of its libertarian anti-ideological foundation, creative intuition, concrete philosophical framework. It's not a frame. A framework is not concrete. It's logical, but it's not concrete. Articulates it. It explicitly grounds it with the fierce skepticism of groupthink, moral superiority, and state overreach. Targeting everyone is just about being shocking. Logical fairness. Yep. Who is the more imposing figure? Well, I didn't even ask that. You can see. Seeing sort of younger interviews. Maybe a documentary. So he's making South Park. Take a look at this. In just 6 days. Wow.
If we go down to this either end, see you can get it. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like this, right? That's good. All right, so we're talking to you. Yeah. Okay.
Show tonight, oh my God, the creators of the legendary animated series South Park, Matt Stone and
South Park's never been that. And I sit there going, okay, what's offensive? What can we do that's offensive? We just are sort of offensive people.
Watch all 4 days of the Democratic convention. On Wednesday night, I had to watch South Park, so I.
Oh, this is hot, Gildery.
Oh gosh. Do I think it's about how they disagree. Where and how do they tend to disagree with each other? Yep. Have some weird ideas. It's the break. Production time, cost too much money, or distracting from the core plot. The logic of Parker's concept until Parker prove the joke is worth the logistical headache. Therefore, but. Yeah. Logically, you call out these things as lazy writing, drawing a hard line against the type of disconnected cutaway gags in The Family Guy. Where the character's action naturally pushes the story forward if it's just a random joke. If you let slide and make narrative sense, yeah. I don't think it's extroverted logic, to be honest. I'm not convinced it's extroverted logic, pragmatic argument. It's about plot integrity. Sued. That's the thing. So Stone is both yeah. It's not pragmatic necessarily. And to some degree it is. Math problem, exactly. The objective is fair use, and satire, of course, is line to genuine action to defamation of copyright infringement. It is. He must be the latter, but they seem to be suggesting, well, he must be the latter. There we go. But here's a stubborn argument which in a writing process to test them. Yes. So how does this fighting aspect really come out? So I'm not buying it. No. Sure. Interesting. He's completely against the idea of more musical. He was skeptical, but complete turnaround and led one of the most successful musicals of all time. Yep. Stage which he's pretty much sort of as a matter of logistical mistake. Control completely. Yeah, but that logic has nothing really to do with the practicality of people that you buy tickets to see it. So I don't know. I think he is strategically minded. That's clear. Let's watch some 6 Days Air. Thanks.
South Park seems like a billion miles away.
We started in South Park in 2 weeks. This is really stupid.
This was the longest break we've ever had in between runs. It's been quiet here for the last few months. It won't be any longer here, surely.
You have concerns about their creative energy?
Well, knowing we have 7 shows coming up and we don't have any ideas for them yet, which is that's typical, but to go to South Park is going to be really hard. There's this documentary being made on South Park, so that starts shooting now.
Go to the bathroom, boys. Bathroom camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably should actually. What's good? Okay. I have want to get that little mini detail for 75? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just give me the keys. I'll just give them to you. What's your name? Trey. Trey. Okay. I'll take care of you first. What time are you leaving today? 5 in the morning. Probably. Okay. Yeah. Kind of our mission every morning to go in and come up with ideas and jokes.
The writer's room is off limits. I will only bother the writer's room if there's something that has got to be dealt with or answered right on the spot.
Man, we gotta do 7 episodes. I've never had cameras in the writer's room. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a safe place for all the good ideas that we get. There's like 100 not so good ones. The Japanese tsunami, which isn't funny at all, but there is like every a couple days, it's like a new video comes out because so many people were video. Yeah. Everyone has video. It looks it's terrifying. Anyway, so tsunami show. People are that's super funny, real funny. And you got to feel safe to just go, what about this? And it's like people go, and you go, okay, I don't take any offense. You didn't like my idea, and you got to feel like. It's weirdly vulnerable.
I've had friends that worked at other shows, and if you say something that doesn't work, they're like, "Yeah, it sucks. You suck. You're not funny." And these guys, it's actually a very kind room, and I think like the what you get is okay.
Well, the way that they work is definitely like having fun, laughing, chasing that, and never making it like a grind. We got started the boys at the theater, and there was like, seems like movie trailers make you feel stupid these days. Oh, you, Kevin James is Zookeeper. Go see it, asshole.
That trailer,
talking monkey in a movie. It's not get ready.
Kevin James is the Zookeeper. Fuck you. He's about to get married. Fuck you.
Square. I can't talk. Fuck you.
I'm to the Caribbean 48. Fuck you.
You'll notice that a lot of the people that work here, they'll be walking by back and forth, and they're always kind of, because they know the more we're laughing in there, the less hours they probably have to work in here. And they walk by, there's no laughing, and Trey's doing this, and I'm pulling up my hair, and I'm sitting there like 3 in the afternoon. Yeah, like, we should be done. We're gonna be here fucking late tonight. These guys can't think of anything. You know what's getting a lot of traction in the last like maybe 6 months is how fucked up the NCAA is and how fucked up it is that players don't get paid. They're playing on ABC on Sunday in front of like 20 million people, and they can't afford to fly their mom to the game. You look in the crowd and everybody's white, all the athletic directors, everybody's white, all the players are black, or most of them are, 90% of them are black. And you're like, dude, you're selling their image like on video. You're signing video game deals.
When I first met him, we had just seen Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Matt really hated it. And he was kind of going off about it, and he was like, it was like a rape. He just kept saying like the movie was like a rape. And while he's saying it's like Trey's just kind of like pacing around, and then Trey just goes, okay, so the boys are coming out of Kingdom, and then it just started. It became, I was like, oh my god, it's becoming an episode.
Cartman starts a lucrative business of getting crack babies to play basketball.
Yeah.
And he videotapes these crack babies. It becomes really big, but he doesn't pay the crack babies anything.
Yeah.
Stan's mom volunteers at the hospital where she holds crack babies, and Cartman sees a really great investment opportunity.
Yeah. The most successful businesses in America don't pay their labor.
Yeah.
Don't you understand?
It's
Cal?
slave labor.
I see you're going to represent the crack babies against me. How much money are they paying you, Cal?
No, I'm doing it pro bono. What?
Fucking boner. No, I mean, fine. If you're doing it for money, I don't. Yeah, but just to get a boner, pal, you fuck off.
The key thing is he LSI or is he LI?
We don't even know what it is. Like, even though that's not.
Or is there something else he can be?
This little thing going, oh, you're screwed. You're screwed. And then I tried to get a diversion and play a little Xbox last night, and a big ad for South Park came up on the Xbox. And I found, starting Wednesday, and I was like, oh, shit, I just can't get away from it. Let's do this. Let's go till 11:30, trying to come up with something completely new. Then from 11:30 to 12:30, we'll pick which of these shows we're going to do. Then we'll come up with a scene for that, and then we'll be done.
A whole another show.
Last night, I went on to iTunes, and that thing came up again. It's like, your iTunes is out of date, which happens every time. God damn it, here it goes again. I got to download another version of fucking iTunes. How many times have I hit agree to that, and I've never even read one line of it? It's like, Kyle's in trouble, we got to help. He's like, fuck Kyle, I don't care. It's like, dude, he agreed to the iTunes terms and conditions. Like, oh my God, get him in his head.
The joke is that everyone always reads except for Kyle. Even Butters is sitting with him.
Well, how can you agree to something you didn't read, Cal?
That is part I've put in too.
Never click something without reading it. I said disagree.
Because then Stan even showing up at Cartman's house going, we got to hide Stan. And Cartman's like, why? And it's like, he agreed to the fucking iTunes terms and conditions. Like, what? Did he read it? I happened to be downloading the new version of iTunes for the 400th time. It was like, clicking on that agree thing. I'm like, I wonder if there's anything really messed up in here that I'm agreeing to. Then we had this parody of Human Centipede that went into it. And then you start to know, oh, wait, this is actually starting to be something.
I just got a little Kyle hat on that second one. Like, this is Kyle in the middle. It's getting fucking blue.
A profile shot first, just sort of what really it looks like in Human Centipede. Let's see that as the side shot, and then let's also see it basically like Japanese guy head on, with Kyle kind of peeking out back here, and her back here. If we decide we're going to go that, we'll probably build a white wall cycle for it.
I've seen the process. That's clear.
So I got them corralling the real version.
Whatever Cartman,
Into the
doesn't matter what's going on in the story. He just has to brought the front guy a huge cappuccino with 6 extra shots of it.
I've learned that men really they dig poo.
It's like, shit in here. Fucking ass into this. His fucking ass up this up into a cloud. Definitely.
Just upload all your stuff to the cloud and then down into your fucking asshole.
The Japanese man can have to talk for the whole centipede, I was like, what do you want to do, Kyle? I was like, oh. He said he wants to, shoot some spotting to my asshole. Apparently, like, you want to just laughing and Garfield was kind of looking a little bit. Yeah, she's really, we're doing that or something. And they're like, oh yeah, we're going to do that.
When they shit into each other's mouths, we're not going to see feces in the iteration that I have seen so far. But I don't know what's going to happen at the end yet. We haven't written the end. Maybe, yes, maybe we see them being sewn together. Yeah. Thanks. Happy Easter to you too.
More violent on the shake. Gotta match Kyle's head to the butt. And then I gotta do the same thing to his butt and her head.
In this building, you not only have to be good and diverse, but you also have to be fast. If it takes you 4 days to get something done, you can't really
I'm
contribute.
sure I'm going to get the right things I need right now.
I used to walk into a room and just go, ta-da! Now I tiptoe, just in case.
2 rival nail salons. She ain't gonna beat me. 1 AI design.
We had a big fight about the different trailers. That's why, I mean, there were the trailer was supposed to go out on Austin Powers, I think, which was a huge thing. And they did one of these trailers that is just, I mean, complete. It makes my skin crawl. It's like, get ready for the wacky, woke, fun of summer. It was like, you know, like it was a commercial for like, you know, like basketball, like what they did with that, or like a Norm Macdonald movie, or like these crappy. They call them $10 million crappy summer movies. That's like the official term in Hollywood. $10 million crappy summer movie. And you know, like what for whatever, you know, you can say what you want about, but we thought our movie was much cooler than that, and we didn't want it to be like, get ready, here it comes for the wackalicious, and so we cut our own preview, trailer, that was cut to Carmina Burana, and that one kind of went. But then another hard part was, and then the MPA comes in, and the MPA has to rate trailers, and trailers have to be rated G. And in the South Park movie, there's like no rated G jokes. There's none. So you can't do anything. You can't do anything funny. So we cut this Carmina Burana trailer, thinking, well, it looked like a real serious movie. It's just real serious and epic and all this stuff, and it went back and forth, and finally, God, it was just terrible. I went all the way to the head of the studio and just back and forth, and they were just like pulling their hair out, like saying, "Who says, you know, has no, like basically we were just so contentious and so like just no, we're not doing it," and they were just like they were going crazy. So anyway, they backed in this trailer, and long story, but anyway, they had 48 hours to finish their trailer, and we had said no, and dicked them so many times that they had gotten down to 48 hours, and they had crews working around the clock for those 48 hours to get this trailer on the front of Austin Powers, wherever it was. But they needed this one tape, this thing called a DLT, right? The thing that stores the shots. So the PA's walking out with the DLT to go to Paramount to deliver it, so they have their 48 hours. And I was like, bring that over here, and we were on the shoot for Brian Boitano. I stuck it in my trunk of my car, and I drove home. So that was Friday night, and then Monday morning, my lawyer calls at like literally 7:45 at my house, and he's like, "Do you have something that belongs?" He's like, "The 3 biggest lawyers from Paramount just called me and said they're going to sue us." And I'm like, "Don't let them sue us." But that was our major trade, like, sue us right now, please, you. And we've said this to them right to their face, and our lawyer was like, "No, you don't understand. You have to get this. You'll go to jail. That's theft, you know." And so it got that bad. It got to the point where they were like, "We're sending a letter to sue you," basically, whatever the letter is, that like we're suing you and taking you to court, and Trainer like, bring it on, because we only had 2.5 weeks left.
So I don't think this is someone who's extrovert sensation vulnerable. I'm leaning more LSI for him.
The perfect example of why the MPA just sucks in so many ways is the original scene in the movie when the kids got on the internet had to do with Cartman's mom, a horse, and them seeing that. And I'm sure you guys seen that there's an internet thing that goes around that people have seen. That's, I mean, it's not even our idea. Like, some actually is on the internet. So we took it and we did this thing, and you never really saw the screen, and it was pretty short, and they said you can't do that. So we went back and forth, and they wouldn't let us do it. So we put in this German video thing that I think is like much more depraved and much more.
We made it 3 times long.
3 times long, and they were like, okay. That happened every stage of the movie. Everything. People always ask us, like, is there going to be outtakes of the movie, a director's cut with all the good stuff? And it's like, the good stuff's all in there. Like, every time they made us cut something, we put in something worse as a big middle finger to them, like, all right, watch this. And every time they'd okay it.
But the one quick thing I want to say, just because I know there's a lot of independent filmmakers out there, is the really scary thing, and this is scary, was we had done Orgasmo, which was totally, no company, no nothing. We just did it, and it had to get rated.
Yeah, I think he has to be LSI.
And we said, okay, well, what can we cut back to give it an R? We needed an R, and we thought it was an R-rated movie. I mean, it's not, we purposely didn't put any sex in it. We didn't put any nudity in it.
It has to be.
And they said, oh, well, we can't tell you what to cut out because that makes us a censorship group. And so we just need to tell you, you need to submit more cuts. And we're like, but that you don't understand. We don't have the money. You know, we can't afford to make any more cuts, or we need to know exactly what to cut if we get the money for an Avid again. And it's like, we can't do that. We're sorry. It's just the way it is. NC-17. And when we submit the South Park movie, they gave it an NC-17. And we're on the phone, and there's some Paramount higher ups on the phone, and they're like, okay, to the MPAA. Now, can you tell us why it got an NC-17? They're like, yes. Starting with this shot
One,
here,
two,
you
three,
can cut
four
this,
lists, yeah.
Starting with this shot here, you could move this, take this shot out, replace this word with this, and do that, and we can probably get you your R.
Yeah, it's
And we were
fucking
like,
scary.
what the? Because, and that's really what's scary is the MPAA is in bed with all the studios, and they all have this relationship, and it's a very important relationship. But the independent filmmakers are the ones that just get, because they don't care. They can just say NC-17.
Yeah, because the signatories pay their bills.
Because
so like New Line before New Line was bought by Warner, they couldn't MPA. I mean, I've heard this from many different. Now I'm going to out a bunch of people at New Line are going to piss at me, but they said an MPA would not return their calls. Like, hey, what do we hit on that? They wouldn't even return their calls. The day they became a signatory, the day they were bought by Warner's, they were like, hey, anyway, here's the problem with this movie, and blah blah. You know, just no. I mean, they send over notes. I mean, you know, it's crazy. It's just absolutely unfair, especially to the. I mean, outside of our whole like other issue of censorship, but to the independent filmmaker, it discriminates against them. It violates all sorts of like fair trade policies and stuff. It's the big guys controlling the market and making the rules that even the little guys have to follow, and that's what's really scary about it.
Hmm. Last one. I think I'm going to call time, but I think LSI. We need to move on to Georges St-Pierre.
I'm curious if you could talk a bit about your roughest days with Paramount and the MPAA, as those are amusing stories, and the stuff you guys wrote in Variety was great.
If you've got about 5 hours,
if you get me started in the MPAA, man, you're not
just
going
anything.
anywhere.
Yeah, thanks.
The roughest days. I mean, Paramount. It was just I mean, we'd never done a studio movie like that before, and it was just there's just a lot of miscommunication and a lot of things like that they just assumed that we would be okay with. And then we'd be like, no, we're not doing that. And
it was really they really had an attitude of like, we know how to do South Park, not you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
But I have my favorite story, which is when we were doing the music video. We're supposed to do an MTV music because, of course, all movies do that. And they were like, we're gonna get Kid Rock to do a song, and I was like, what? No. And they were like, no, we can get Kid, and he'll do this. He actually recorded a song last year that we're just gonna use that, and make a video. And we were just like, you don't understand. That's so anti-South Park.
lame.
Don't do that. Please don't do that.
We're doing a musical, and like we're doing a real musical.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing?
And they're like, well, what do you guys want to do? We're like, we want to do What Would Brian Boitano Do? And they're just like, no. And so they're like, no. So we're just going to get some stuff special for the video, and we're going to get this Kid Rock song. So we need this, and this. So we need Cartman saying this. And it's like, well, I do Cartman. I ain't doing it. And we need animation of this, and Eric's like, well, I ain't drawing it. I ain't animating it. And so they got really angry, right? And threatened to sue us and everything. And they said, you don't understand, we're spending $300,000 on this video. And so Matt and I said, okay, fine, you know what, we'll pay for the video. Like, we'll pay for the video. Just let us do what we want to do.
And that next week, and we'll get on MTV. Yeah. You don't have to do shit. We'll send it to MTV, and you just get out of our hair. We'll just pay for it.
And they were like, well, the president of MTV doesn't want that. He wants a Kid Rock song. And we're like, well, the president of MTV now happens to be Brian Graydon, who we made this whole thing for. He's like one of our best friends. Right. And so anyway, Matt writes a memo. There's these great memos that went to Paramount. But my favorite one was Matt saying, here's our official position. We
figured out a way to make the video work.
Yeah, it was called A Formula for Success. And it said, dear Paramount, we have figured out a way to make this video work. It's our formula for success. Cooperation plus you doing nothing equals success.
Right. I'm going to move on to Georges St-Pierre. I think LSI for him. I think Eiley for highly for Trey. And I think I for Trey, yeah, he's clearly the creative one. He's clearly one with lots of different ideas. He gets caught up on ultra complex plots and aspects which then are not particularly aligned to the strategy of what the story is. Sometimes it goes off on the deep end to some degree, but it's clearly a huge driving energy. He's clearly ignores his body to some degree, just throwing himself behind an idea. Very clear alpha values, at least emanating from him. It seems to me as though Trey's values are sort of alpha-ish, right? But it's sort of he's so uncompromising in it, and he loves sort of not compromising it. He's basically taking sort of his role as sort of a very sort of LSI role in it. It suggests to me he still is an LSI, just a libertarian LSI, which we know that those exist. So yeah, that's what I think. I'm going to move on to George Passampier. I'm going to take another loo break because I'm having a lot more water than normal to cope with a cough. And I'll be right back. Okay, everyone, let's look at Saint-Pierre now. Oh, there are two. Let me just check. I'm going to Google just to make sure. Definitely the right one. Okay. Best fight in mixed martial arts history. My record of 26 wins and 2 losses. One in Quebec. Training in Kyokushin karate, age 7. I was experiencing bullying, eventually earning second degree black belt by age 12. So I to pursue MMA. I was watching a normal UFC event. First welterweight title win against Matt Hughes. Modest French Canadian household. Real upbringing, activities, initial expression of martial arts. Persistent bullying by older classmates at hometown of Saint Isidore, Quebec. His father ordered Kyokushin karate class to build self-defense skills and confidence. A full contact style emphasizing discipline, endurance, and striking techniques. He trained diligently during his second degree black belt. Prime martial arts foundation lies in Kyokushin karate. Full contact style, emphasizing powerful strikes, conditioning, mental toughness, which began training at age 7 to catch bullying. Know about that. Exceptional dedication for his age. The third dam by Shohei Sui. His striking base provided the core of his stand-up game. focusing on precise kicks, punches, and knee strikes honed for rigorous Kumite sparring. Not sure what Kumite is when you're meeting of hands, sparring karate, controlled dynamic exchanges of offensive defensive technique, right? And it's like training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for the ground game, that makes sense. He drew significant wrestling influences from Canadian freestyle and Greco-Roman programs. That makes sense for a mixed martial artist. What else? Trains 6 days a week, only 2 sessions per day. Structured nutrition plans. Okay. I think that's unique to him, though. He retired in 2019. There's a GSP Foundation, a charitable organization dedicated to combating bullying, promoting physical activity among youth through support for sports programs, schools across Canada. Activities in the apparel and fitness sectors, long-term endorsement partnership with Hayabusa Fightwear, sports nutrition, coaching mentorship roles, training seminars in Phuket, in Thailand. Trying defeating Michael Bisping, with ulcerative colitis, inflammatory bowel disease, weight loss, severe fatigue, abdominal pain, digestive issues. Difficult for gaining weight then, yeah. He vacated the title in 2017 to avoid holding up the division, his health. He prioritized well-being. He didn't go extreme on that. Checking what age was he when he got into this? So he's 1981, right? He's 44 now. So retired in his late 30s. Wasn't action films or television. Okay, she's gone into acting and charity, philanthropy. Yep. Lean athletic physique for performance rather than pure aesthetics. A balanced hybrid approach, which means striking and grappling in roughly equal measures to maintain control across all ranges of combat. I'm being a specialist who's more balanced. Jab heavy boxing foundation, precise distance management. Rigorous mental preparation, daily visualization techniques to simulate fight scenarios and build instinctive responses. Enhancing adaptability, allowing real-time adjustments to counter opponents' preferred strengths. Fortifying anti-grappling defense against submission specialists. Vulnerability by refining ground defense for targeted drilling. Just cardio conditioning for extended 5-round around bouts. Sounds like he's highly technical then. Efficiency and adaptability, yeah. Sounds it. Comprehensive science-based training methodology that integrated wrestling, striking, mental conditioning, modern analytics and recovery techniques, that holistic preparation strategies, how we train for endurance and tactical. So this seems like extroverted logic. And with someone who ultimately prioritizes health and well-being over other things. Georges St. Pierre. So karate jazz to compare to team or to MMA camps. Dedicated strength conditioning programs alongside optimized nutrition plans should focus towards explosive power development. To emphasize holistic preparation, blending martial arts specifically with scientific support for injury prevention and peak output. Okay. Is there anything on YouTube? Let's see. Yeah.
Particular sequence happened to me in one of my fights against Dan Hardy. The guy went for an armbar, and his opponent was able to escape and came back on top. So what we're seeing, it was pretty real. Hi GQ, I'm Georges St. Pierre, and this is the breakdown.
I'll look at Joe Rogan next. It's gonna be more interesting, I think.
Goal in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is to control our opponent without hurting. However, what is good about it, if our opponent refuses to comply while we have control over him, we have the power to hurt him really bad. We can hurt him in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with submission hold, like breaking a limb, or strangulation as well, so he can pass out. And so it's a very soft martial art, but it could be also very violent. And the Jiu-Jitsu means the art of softness. A little bit like Bruce Lee used to say, like, be like water, my friend. Like, go with the flow. And that's the mentality of Jiu-Jitsu. You hear the corner screaming, shoot, shoot. When they say shoot, they mean it's a move when you have the fighter going low, attacking the leg of his opponent to throw him down. Shoot up! This is called a double leg takedown. This is a technique that is mostly used in wrestling. It's actually one of my favorite techniques that I use a lot during my career. The idea is if you want to bring your opponent down, it's a little bit like when you want to bring a tree down. You cut it from the bottom and it falls down. It's the same thing. So when you want to bring your opponent down, you attack the bottom part of his
tell right now he's not his native language.
And up, so you attack the legs.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for. You're right. I'm just gonna go to the Rogan interviews.
Gotten better at that as I've gotten older. I'm better at forgiving people and not holding grudges and not being upset at people. And if I see someone that I had a problem with in the past, just give them a hug. You know, I don't care. Yeah, I think it's not healthy to carry around grudges.
And it make you feel good sometimes too.
Yeah, it feels real good. And it feels real bad to keep that hate and anger inside of you. It festers away. And you think of, well, if he says this, then I'm going to say that. And, fuck him. And he shouldn't have done this. Well, I shouldn't have done that. But yeah, but I only did that because he did this. And you have these little stupid arguments in your head instead of just saying hi
as well.
And just being friendly or saying you're sorry or saying, hey, man, I don't have a problem with you.
There's a guy that a few years ago, I drove my car on the street in Montreal. It's like in the evening. I see a tall guy coming at me, and he begged for money. Put down my window. This guy, I swear it's true story. He's the guy that used to bully me in school. Whoa. I say, I don't want to say his name, but I say, hey, wait a second, I park my car, park the car, go talk to him. I said, what the hell you doing here, man? He's like, and he thought I would be angry because when he see me
he saw his reaction, like shoot, like now I'm world champion, you know, like I can beat him up, you know.
Right.
Back in the day, he was like 3 years older than me, was bigger, he was beating me up in the bus. This guy. Now he see me, he's like kind of a scare. I get out of my car, he don't know if he should run or not. So I go to him, I say, what you do here, man? He's like you. He's like, yeah, I know, but things doesn't go well for me, you know. I was like, all right. It's like, man, you're a tall guy, good looking. He's like, what you doing here, man? It's like, I give him what I have left on me, you know. Like I don't remember, like 100 something. Or I give him. I say, get out of here, man. It's like you're full of potential. It's like, get out of here, man. Like, when I was young, when I wanted to be like you're a tall guy, man. You're good looking. It's like full of potential. So I shake his eyes like, no problem. Then he say, thank you, George. You get out, then I don't hear about him. Few months later, I go to my parents' house for having dinner. Then my dad say, you know who come to the house a few days ago? This guy. I'm like, yeah, I met him. He said, yeah, he said you met him in the street, but now he said he came to thank you. He wanted to talk to you, but I said you don't live here, and I didn't want to give you a number. But he said, look, George, he talked to me. And he said, so he changed my life. Now I have a job and I feel good. I just want to say thank you to him. And it feels so good. Like, wow. Just when I met him and I didn't get angry at him, like, because it was still there. He did very bad stuff to me when I was young. But when I see him, it made me feel good, kind of a relief now.
Yeah.
And this guy, when I was young, he was beating me up in the bus all the time. He was ridiculizing me. I had like Adidas pants that you can tie like this. It was like taking off. So I was like in underwear in front of everybody, in front of the girl. He was beating me up all the time. And he was stronger than me. He was like 3-4 years older than me. And he was tall and strong guy. He's a hockey player back in the day. And yeah, I couldn't beat him. Even with martial art, he was always stronger than me. He hurt me a lot, like back in the day. So my dad, one time I got beat up in the bus. I told him, because I came back with a black eye. One time in my life, I told my dad what happened. I never said anything, but I said my dad, I said, yeah, he's a guy in the bus, he beat me up. He said, I tell him the name of the guy. So my dad, what he did, he found out I'm from countryside, so everybody knows who everybody is. He goes to the house, talk to the dad. He say, listen, stop. Can you tell your son to stop hitting my son in the bus because he need to be focused on the school? And the dad, when my dad came back, he said, hey, I want to talk to his dad. He's gonna stop. So he said his dad was like drinking and stuff, and he was beating the shit out of his son. So the way this guy learned to communicate through his dad was beating him up. He was drunk and beating him up. That's the way he was communicating with me. He was beating me up because he learned the same way from his dad to communicate.
Placing yourself in someone else's perspective.
Happened to be at the wrong.
Letting go of resentment.
Perfect. You know, I was the guy that was getting beat. So we say good and bad. He was not a bad person. To my version of life, from my perspective, he was a terrible person. Like, it was terrible. I wanted to kill him. He made my school time miserable, man. I was humiliated all the time. I was getting beat up, and I was very proud person. So I used to go fight him all the time.
So initial,
and at one point I fought him so many times.
Yes, at this point in LSC. Let's see if that holds.
All the time, but to my own eyes, he was a bad person. But through his eyes, it was a different story, and his father was a different story. Everybody was a different story.
Yeah.
Just to say that when I met him, that way we talk about, like, it feels so good just to meet him in the street and make kind of a peace and give him money. Like, yeah, you beat me up, but you know what? Even though you did that, I give you the money, and now it made me feel like I'm kind of a revenge. Better than a revenge. It made me feel like, yeah, man, you see, without me, you wouldn't have nothing maybe to sleep or eat tonight. So I give it to you. I still give it to you if you do that to me. That make me feel much better than if I would like beat him up.
Yeah. And don't you think that maybe that guy and him doing that to you was one of the reasons why you became a champion? Because you got into martial arts very heavily because of being bullied.
Yeah, because I was
beating up in school. Maybe it was, but he was not the only guy that was beating me up. All his friends, but he was kind of the guy that was all the girl liked, and he was like the taller, stronger guy. So he was kind of the alpha guy at the time. Maybe it was like I said, I don't believe only one thing influenced me, but it's many things, many causes that make that happen. But maybe it's one of the cause. Yes.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I could be wrong. I could be right, but that's that's my
Most-
philosophy in life. That's how I think. So everybody says, "Oh, George, you're a true martial artist. You're a good guy."
Mark, you could be alright. I'm not set yet. Not set. What you just did there is very Delta extrovert.
That's how I think. When they say
So I don't know if it's one thing. Many causes, many different things coming together.
Myself, I am that. But it makes me happy when people say that.
Well, like you are a good guy, and you try to be a good guy.
I try to be,
that's
but
who you are.
Yeah, I try to be.
That's who you are.
I try to be good model, good role model. I think it's important for me.
Get more from your holiday with TUI. Get more splash with free on-site water parks in kids' pools, and get more bliss.
Let's see what else there is on him. I'm gonna say right. I can't watch this one.
What's that kick called where the player uses the other leg behind to kick? Overtake, bank, save, and invest. Travel.
Okay, let's try something else. Wait for it to come up again. Wait for it to come back. Come on, is it going to come back? Come on. Okay, looks like we're back again. Hello, everyone. So we can't watch the interview anymore. If you watched Joe Rogan, it'll probably lead to the similar issues it did last time. I'm just looking at, okay, what motivated him towards this very scientific approach? His Tristar gym head coach Firas Zahabi instilled that philosophy of analyzing fighting as a series of physical problems to be solved, using biomechanics and efficiency rather than just raw aggression. So that's useful to know. What did he personally contribute his own fighting and training style philosophy? See what we get there. Modular fluid system of distinct separate disciplines. If you compartmentalize striking, wrestling, yep. This is very Delta extrovert again. That's his karate blitzer disguises wrestling shots. He time takes exactly from critical strikes. React to takedown, so yeah, perfect timing, broken rhythm of his footwork able to keep opponents guessing. All right. Well, let me see. Let me see what comes out. Task-based rolling. High-risk positions to escape practices. Practice escapes. He actively sought out Olympic-level wrestlers of the national team to bring outside expertise into MMA. That's the extrovert intuition. Making cowardice, he was admitted to being terrible fights, viewing fear as a necessary biological fuel, but rigid, unbreakable pre-fight warm-up sequences to trick his brain into feeling safe. Interesting. Yeah. Let's see. Where precisely were these? Hurt him, but as a mechanical puzzle to dismantle. That's something right there. That's a depersonalization. It may work against IE. See. Organic, highly collaborative fusion. He provided the raw mechanics, had focus on underlying concepts. His coaches form his into elite systems. So his legendary timing and distance management is down to Kyokushin karate background. Just be intuitively knew how to time the opponent's entry. Refers to Zaharbin's on Danaher. Danaher knows his trait and codified into a repeatable system. It's systematically bait on the opponent with a long weapon like a jab to force a particular counter strike. This was driven entirely by his self-described perfectionism since severe injuries early in his career. He became obsessed with longevity. He insisted on introducing gymnastics and track and field sprinters to his routine. Formulation. He resisted some of his ideas. There's two films to argue about the usefulness of traditional running versus fight conditioning. Comedy is designed for safety by pioneering task-based and technical sparring, just start removing the old school mentality of knocking out training partners. Single light system, anxiety taking over. Well, the perfect obsessive canvas. He brought the martial arts cross-training concepts. So footwork, so-called lack of ego. His coaches took his unique traits with a system around them. So his obsessiveness is very, very key as well. It's a stupid question, but we'll see what it answers with. Obsessively process-based person. Charismatic, polite, well-spoken in public. His internal psychology is tied to a routine, structure, intense hyper-focus. So that a rigid process was so extreme, he explicitly cited it as the reason he had to temporarily walk away from MMA. So some OCD. Simply relax or train casually. If technique was not perfect, simply was out of place, it keep him awake at night. Defending his title, where every minute of the days coming towards a goal, was driving him crazy. And to step out of sport, just learn to have a normal social life. He's exceptionally polite. This is the thing. He is polite. That's exactly right. He's polite. He lacks a toxic, trash-talking persona of other fighters. His gentleman persona is a manifestation of his discipline and control, not necessarily a desire for heavy social interaction. That's on the quiet, repeatable mechanics of martial arts. I protect his mental space. He avoids people who carry negative or chaotic energy because they suck the life out of him. But in predictable, tightly controlled environments. Is he particularly creative? Because it seems that his creativity is more about being open to what systems he can bring, but the system comes first, not in a traditional artistic sense. There's a high level of architectural creativity. He rarely invented brand new martial arts out of thin air. He could lay in synthesis, taking existing ideas from completely unrelated fields, arranging into a highly functional master system. He could let elite engineering take a car engine, a jet wing, bicycle framing, and work together perfectly. As they're working together perfectly, it's the extroverted logic, there's the extroverted intuition, and it's the introverted sensation as well going in there. So I imagine clear spark, success with paleontology, dinosaurs, ancient history, deep dive tangent interviews regarding the evolution biology of prehistoric predators, apex mechanics of Tyrannosaurus rex, primate behavior, to mind this constantly looking at the world through the lens of mechanics, history, and survival adaptation. But his creative was never chaotic or random. His creative was a master puzzle solver, the human body and combat rules. Absolute uncompromising wall of privacy. His private life, not as a public commodity, but as a treasure, must be fiercely guarded. The extreme secrecy led to intense fan speculation. His personal life is structured around highly deliberate boundaries. During his active fighting period, he claimed he was married to the job, to that question about his romantic life. In his post-retirement life, has been revealed his marriage to Divine Crazy, a Rwandan Canadian. He resettled in Canada. They have 2 children together. True to his process-oriented nature, he completely kept his wife and children as a media spotlight to shield them from the chaotic, intrusive nature of combat style sports stardom. I was targeting a complete person. If we try to get some of it I love and some of my family, it's going to be a different story. I do not want to give my opponents the opportunity to use that against me. Very close to his parents. Right, inner circle of experts, not yes men. Personal distractions and toxic inner circle. He fired his management and purged his entourage. His close relationship remained bounded by professional and intellectual respect. Coaches, sports scientists, and fellow martial artists. How has he grown and developed over time? Fearful, hyper-obsessive competitor, peaceful, highly adjusted philosopher. Is it right to say that he has become more conceptual? He's grown from being more survivalist and physical to conceptual and creative? Or it right to say that he has grown from being more people pleasing and socially oriented? Exactly, Isaac. It sounds like SC to any. I agree. I just want to test it. 2, someone who has discovered his own competence, in confidence in his competence. See, I think we'll say he was always competent, always self-efficacious. What he's grown in is to become more conceptual and creative. But let's see what it says. Oh, both of the rank club 2 dim times of evolution. My fear and athletic supremacy lied in explosive speed, an unbreakable gas tank, and physical dominance survive the cage. Chore phase. He's an architecture creator. Stop looking at martial arts as separate sports. Seeking for the concept. Is this true though? His tough exterior, he was desperate for validation. So he bullies a child. His own championship runs to run by deep anxious to please the crowd, his coaches, and his country. He admitted it terrible letting people down. He landed in title by public approval. He was a fight record by walking away from the sport. He shattered me for public validation. Okay. So the key thing was this: was he? See, the thing is, the people pleasing side, that does not sound like a strength. There's nothing. The way it describes it, the people pleasing is not a strength. It sounds more like a role function. Let's see, you can see what happens. Yeah, what worked. If fancy was high percentage, threw it away. Core effort started biomechanics as a teenager, throwing trash and garbage truck. Fighting pure structural analysis, geometry, and levers. What's nature was how he found those practical solutions. Coaches and so something he was bringing in other ideas and perspectives, but that doesn't mean that he was leading on the expedition to quite the same degree. No, peace was his greatest internal weakness. It actually manifests an external strength. That is it. It wasn't a strength of his. That's a role function. He became polite because he's putting on this mask of trying to keep situations happy, situations positive. It's not who he actually was. It actually yeah, it was all managing risk, essentially, extrovert depth. It's a role function, it's not a demonstrator. He doesn't wear that lightly. It's something which is demanded of him, which he doesn't want to have to deal with. So yeah, I think LSE makes the most sense, honestly. More than IEE. Early in his career, is a freakish athletic anomaly. Had a level of explosive speed, reactive power, and conditioning almost robotic. Can physically manhandle elite, heavily muscle fighters and out-wrestle lifelong divisional wrestlers. Vast superior pedigree on paper. They had willpower without ego. His force will was not the typical movie-style aggression. His force of will was a disciplined adherence to the system. Rocked, exhausted under immense pressure. He was manifested, shapeable, refused to break fall. So this is exactly right for a demonstrative function. This is a demonstration. It is very strong. It's not valued. It's not pushed in a sort of expected way. It doesn't have ego attached to it. It just is there in the background. So whereas extrovert ethics, that's actually where things are drawn more from him than he's actually willing to keep, willing to actually provide. That's the role function. That's the area of weakness that is still flexible and sort of, as a result, bends to the demands of others. So looking at all of this, I think LSE is almost certainly the right typing for him, rather than IEE. But I can see what someone may think IEE. They are similar types, LSE and IEE. You got to look at where the natural strengths are, and then where they've actually grown and developed, where are the natural weaknesses as well. Whereas both of them share that focus on extroverted intuition and extroverted logic. That's where they're both pushing in the leading function and the mobilizing function. But what is actually the area of strength from him. I think it is in the extroverted logic, and it's in both sensations, introverted sensation supporting extroverted logic, and also that extroverted sensation being the key thing here. So yeah, I would say that LSE makes the most sense. All right. That is everyone. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Greatly appreciated. I should go get some sleep because I've got to take my son to nursery tomorrow. Or preschool, I should say now. So yeah, thank you everyone. All right. Have a lovely week and take care.